1. And I think we are live. Woo! Yes, it's not just me on Tabletop Simulator for once. This is presumably a little bit weird. But yeah, I had an idea a few weeks ago that as these people around me run a very awesome gaming channel all about their well GM'd RPGs, and I'm here sat in the corner on my own playing solo games. What better thing to do? What better thing to do than combine the two and have my absolute freedom of choice without the realms of a GM, and these guys' awesome storytelling with a GM-less game. So the first one chosen by us lot was Death of a Hero. You guys, do you want to introduce yourselves? We'll start with Sassy, who's that way for me. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, I'm Sassy.
Yeah, we'll just go. I was saying going around clockwise, but yeah.
Scintillating introduction.
Oh, I just realised you two are swapped. Sorry. Give me a minute.
No, keep them like that and make them introduce themselves.
You can see why Sassy's such an internet personality.
Sassy,
sparkles.
do you have less to say about yourself? Christ, shut up, Jesus.
I'm Sable Whisper, and I'm very dramatic, and I talk like this.
I'm Bree, and whenever I try to form a full sentence, a toffee falls out of a fairy dimension in my brain. Yeah, we can all do impressions of each other.
Okay, I think I've sorted that now.
I'm Other Michael. I live in the north with my dog and such.
We weren't swapped.
See, I have a pink light and a blue light, for I am bisexual.
Okay.
Coffee. You forgot all the coffee.
Oh, also, coffee, doggy.
I don't know what I expect inviting you guys.
Just
to
us
do
doing impressions of each other, really slightly unkind impressions of each other. Bree,
Are they unkind?
I'm Izzy. I'm barely a girl. What's my life? Blue hair. How's that?
Pretty spot on, I will say.
No, I don't think it captured quite my essence.
I'm Michael. I'm creepily desensitized to all sorts of forms of oppression and constantly remark on this to no effect.
Now I'm wondering which Michael you're meaning by that.
Oh, it's ambiguous. Mike Gilbert knows which one I mean.
Oh no.
So
I'm just glad
here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
getting...
The Trash Crew are available to guest on most shows, but most shows won't have us for all the reason.
Look,
Absolutely, yes.
Right before
No,
this went live, I said, should we be quiet or should we be obnoxious? And he said, quiet, please. And then this happened. So
Yeah, no, it's entirely fine. We're having fun. And let's
Take your
face
eye
it.
off the ball for 2 seconds and we let loose.
Yeah, I should have really seen this coming. But yeah. Anyhow, shall we continue with the introductions properly?
yes.
Sable, how about you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I had one queued up, so I'm going to start with that. I'm the Model Railway Man. I have really interesting ideas for streams, and I don't give myself enough credit.
That is far too nice. No.
No, I'm the Model Railway Man and I'm able to gather together groups of friends who like each other because I'm good at making friends.
I'm Sable Whisper, and you can call me that. And I am a member of the EU Trash Crew. I don't know what do you want to know about me, Michael?
It was just a general introduction. That was a very good introduction.
In which case, attention! I'm General
I knew
Sable
that-
Whisper,
I knew that was
and
going to
you
happen.
maggots are going to take down Hitler and his entire army.
But I love Hitler.
Yes,
Oh.
that has been established.
I'm leaving.
This is
The Model Railway Man is having regrets.
just a little bit.
This pod is going to get lost.
Absolutely. Okay. Izzy, would you like to introduce yourself? We'll go around slowly. Eventually we'll get there.
Hello, I'm Izzy. I'm a member of the EU Trash Crew. You can find me at EU Trash Crew or at Praxis Descent on Twitter. I like to run games and sometimes I paint and I have blue fun. And these are the distinguishing features about me. Something about being a girl.
Thank you, Izzy. No, Bars no Izzy isn't muted. But yeah, you are rather
Sorry,
quiet.
I was deliberately speaking quietly because I normally speak about this volume and I thought I'll be quiet and normal and reasonable, whereas this time I was just no one's ever called me quiet before. I'll just move my microphone closer.
There we are.
Hello.
Okay.
Voice of Mr. Ons.
That way, yeah. Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike. You can find me at MWKilburn on Twitter, where I post about a variety of things.
Stop copying me, Michael.
Blue hair. No. I am the baby trash. I'm brand new to the trash crew. I'm so new I don't even have a name yet.
You do.
I'm
Calling him feisty trash.
I definitely called you bottom trash at one
I'm
point.
sold by bottom trash. But
I'm
baby
not.
trash has similar energy. Plus, it has that kind of 90s vibe.
I don't
Baby
want
trash.
baby. Okay, it's a work in progress. Something will come naturally, or it'll be bottom trash.
What did James Malloy do in the chat? that
I don't
Mike had
know.
an exception with?
I don't know.
I think he put too many trash bags.
Give me a minute. I will mess about with. Give me a moment.
The last thing I had to prove on the 8U account was the word hand job. So, like, him putting trash bags is legit.
Who said hand job?
Yeah.
Three
Oh,
trash emotions.
So in The Last Gentleman Strangers,
Sable said hand job.
what?
Sable said hand job.
Oh, in The Last Gentleman Strangers, Mr. Cutter got a demon mark on his hand, and I said, had I had any foresight, I would have called this episode 6 the hand job.
I heard it, but I did not see it reach chat.
Yeah, I'm sorry, James Molly, for the Nightbot stuff. I'll try and get that sorted for the next one.
Rampant censorship.
Me, I'm
Indeed.
next.
Trash bags once
Yes.
at a time.
Bree. Sorry, the camera
Hi,
flipped.
I'm Bree. I go by Lazy Honeybee on Twitter and Twitch, although I have not streamed on Twitch in probably like 2 years, to be super honest. But I try my best all the time. I like to do art. I like to do role play. I love my friends. I'm going through a rough time right now. I built a bunk bed last weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Impressive, actually.
Is that
I
why
do.
you're going through a rough time?
I
No,
mean,
Michael, she's American.
well, part of it. Also, I'm American.
Oh yeah.
Did you not notice? Oh,
And my all of my
I just
family
thought she
lives
was from
deep
no.
south.
So-
Okay. Also, yeah, I'm very sorry, chat, for the rampant actions tonight, but as I said, I'll try and get that sorted for the next week's stream, which should be a return to the Wandering Dream stuff, so I will once again be in some kind of stupid outfit, as is usual for me on these streams.
well, that's what we did. Wait, did no one else dress in a stupid outfit?
Oh,
Only
yeah.
I
I
just
I mean,
did
I,
some
ha-
sort of,
I have my clank back there if you really want me to, but it'll
only
take me
I
a few
just did
minutes.
some sort of camo twink.
I'm in a dressing gown, so you know.
I
Hmm.
don't really have any.
But yes.
My bottoms are pajamas, so
I mean, mine are just the trousers I was wearing earlier, to be fair, because I was messing about with me LARP armor and stuff.
My
'Cause-
bottoms is all I am.
I have this roll of packing tape I can wear as a hat.
how do you
Sounds
be
good.
Welsh? Someone said I
I
was
have some
Welsh.
hats over there
A
somewhere.
lot of people have
Someone
that
said you
problem.
were
I think Malloy
Yeah,
is
yeah.
razzing. I think he's razzing you. But then again, we've all heard his Scottish accent, so
Oh man.
Hmm.
people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, eh, boyo?
There are answers to the question of how do I be Welsh, and I do not want to repeat them. Lest
Yes, there are
maybe-
answers that are not safe for Wales.
Nice.
Well, mate, that's what that stands for in England. But most of them involve melted cheese.
I'm Welsh now. Sign me up for melted cheese. That's it.
My commiserations.
Melted
Right.
cheese, coal mining, leaks.
Hey, I love Wales. I'm not.
Your
I'm not
flag has a dragon on it. I mean, that's pretty baller, to be honest.
objectively
it.
the best flag.
It is the
Fable,
best.
you strike me as the kind of person that can say the longest place name.
Interesting.
Cool. You can take
Okay.
that home with you.
I can
Sorry,
but badly, so I daren't,
this
you
is-
know.
Sorry. What you mean by that is that I'm the kind of tedious bastard that sits on
Sir.
Wikipedia memorizing long words syllable by syllable so that I can sit there at a dinner party, light up a cigarette and go, and I'm not saying it for your satisfaction.
I mean,
I
yeah.
hoped.
The
I hoped.
I mean,
yeah,
you
I
say that, Michael. That's a trick question, since no one who knows the area would ever call it anything other than fanfare,
Mm.
because no one goes to the effort of saying the dumb extra bit they added on for tourists. They just go, "Where
Yeah.
you from? Clan fair."
Also, I don't know what it is and I can't say it, even if I did. So I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to let you down, Mike.
okay.
Remember that time we were here to play a game?
I was going to say, and on that
Yeah,
note
right.
of letting people down, I have to say I'm very sorry, all of us, but in our most recent fight against the villain that shall be described later, a hero among us fell. And I'm trying to again. So, I'm just looking at the document for this now, which is Death the Hero by Samuel Mui. Mui? It's M-U-Y. There will be a way of saying it. I'm probably saying it wrong. Also known as Bubblegum Sam on Twitter, hence the thing down there. So, for the first phase, as a party, we've all got to describe the hero. So, if anyone... I'm going to roll a dice. Where's my dice bag? And whatever it... I was going to say, whatever it lands on, I'll go with, like... and I'm assuming, I think as hopefully everybody else did, that this is sort of roughly a typical D&D adventuring party kind of thing going on.
So we're talking high Western fantasy.
Yeah.
Is it cowboy times?
No, Brie.
No, not that kind of Western.
It's a 2. Oh shit, that's me. I had in my head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bottom.
Mike,
so
give us the fact.
I'm going to say that this hero was a devotee of the god of life in this universe. And I'm just going to leave that god without a name for now. I'll try and roll this on somewhere a bit quieter than my wooden table, so
I like the
come
sound
from
of
the mic.
dice rolling. It's nice. It adds an atmosphere.
Sassy, would you like to give us another one? I'm just rolling dice, so it's just random at this point.
Let's say he came from a family of nobility.
All right, awesome. I'll roll that again. Rolled the same numbers twice now. There we are. Brie.
I would say this is not the first time they've appeared to have died. So I feel like they've been living as if, not that they're like taking advantage of the fact that they like survived a close call before, but maybe they've become a little reckless.
Okay. Sounds good. Sable. I'm just going with the whatever the dice throws up at the moment.
Okay. The noble family that she is from is not, shall we say, is very much not a favorite of the present ruler of the land. They were involved in a brutal civil war about 100 years ago, and some grudges last a very long time.
It's the ruler.
Well, great stream. Never invite me on again.
Other Michael. So I'll mix things up.
They weren't human. They had a little bit of traditional fantasy dwarven heritage in their background.
And finally, Izzy. With your...
So this is just their, is this their whole self, or is this just their background?
This is describing who the hero was and how they died at the villain. Though I was thinking of weaving that in. I was thinking of weaving that into the villain's one as well.
Okay.
So you could include a fact about that if you wished.
So bouncing off Bree's idea that she's kind of survived worse things than what will have eventually killed her. I think she died to save the party, but she thought that she failed.
Okay. That is spicy. That is good.
Sad boy content.
And so now after that amazing fact, I think it should be because next, as a party, we're supposed to describe the villain and their goal and how they were defeated by this particular hero. So I'm going to say we go in reverse. So, starting with you again, Izzy, if you want. If not, I'm happy to re-roll the dice for the first person. We can go from there.
Come back to me.
Aye. Dice time. That's not helpful. Sassy, I'm sorry, but it is you again.
Oh. Okay, so sorry.
The
One-
villain.
The villain.
The background, or yeah.
So it's the villain. What was that? So describing the villain, their goal, and how they were defeated by the hero. So any of those.
All right. All right. Let's say the villain knew the hero. Had prior interactions with the hero. But there wasn't necessarily hatred.
Interesting. Also, I'm very sorry about the background noise. Stuff going on outside. Okay, so we'll go back to the dice method in a second. 3.
All right. I think this was a lot of betrayal. I feel like the villain at one point thought the party was on their side, but it was some kind of subterfuge. Like as soon as they were getting close to their goal, which I will leave to someone else because I don't trust myself to make a goal, but they thought we were on their side, and then at a critical moment we had to betray them and turn the tables. So I feel like the villain thought we were allies up until the big fight.
All right, that does seem quite good. And from the rumblings I've heard from other people earlier, that does seem like it could work quite well. So, other Michael, we'll go with you next.
So, as the hero was involved with a noble family, but that relationship was rather tarnished, ostensibly the villain who was trying to climb within political power had brought us ostensibly on side in an attempt to restore the family honor. Their plot was not a world-dominating plot. It was to overthrow the politics of a city, and thought very much that we were on side in essentially installing them as the new major domo to whatever force rules the city.
That seems pretty good. Okay, I'll go next. Before going to the two, so we at least got one row cleared. And I'm going to say that the villain was using forbidden magics that they had learned somehow to try and add a supernatural element to this political rise. Bumping off bumping off political opponents with the things that go bump in the night, for example. That kind of thing. Spooky. So, Izzy? So you're not last both times?
Part of the villain's scheme, when they realized that we couldn't side with them, they attempted to make us a scapegoat for some terrible crime. But for some reason, not the hero.
And that leaves Sable with the final.
I had such a good idea, and Izzy, who is my real life fucking nemesis, has said something that now doesn't gel with my idea. So give me a moment.
I can change what I said.
No, let me come up with something. We're doing spontaneously.
I am his nemesis, though. It's true. I'm in his house.
Talking over me definitely helps. The villain. the villain gained access to these dark magics from an unknown patron. And we know only that. We know that the villain may be working on someone else's behalf, but we do not know for what purpose.
This villain needs a name. And if you let me name this villain, we will all regret it.
Fair enough.
We can't let Izzy name the villain either.
Hey, I had a sensible one, and then I thought it wasn't very sensible, and so I was quiet.
Shall I go to the arbiter of all names? FantasyNameGenerators.com.
Oh no.
No, you laugh. Shout out to FantasyNameGenerators.com.
It's good.
Best
It's
resource
really
on the goddamn
good,
internet.
yeah.
It's a great resource, but we don't need that. We can come up with a name.
No, I cannot. Please use it.
We each come up with a syllable, and then we arrange the syllable.
I can make a syllable.
No, don't do that.
I can do that.
It was either that, or I was going to make a reference that only 2 people here would get, and then everyone would go, "Oh!" Or the other people would go, "Oh, Izzy, we don't
Do
understand."
we
this
name
reference."
the hero at all, or just the villain?
I'd say that's up to you guys. I was particularly going with mine of doing from remembering things being read like that I know from like different stories that I've read in that sort of typical high Western fantasy genre. I was going to go with the thing of there being like maybe a tradition or something of not naming the dead out loud thing, like with that, because then it just saves us on coming up with at least one name. It's sort of like I guess an item of respect thing. But if you guys want to come up with a name and use it, then that's entirely fine. I can make that just like a
power that we only refer to her as she. It's got weight.
I like that.
The villain's name is Vencalo Bloodeye.
Blood Eye.
Blood Eye.
Yes. Vencalo Bloodeye. Okay. And now finally, we all take turns describing our role in the party. If anyone has any particular cool ideas first, and I Sable definitely did.
I did.
That corner. Oh hey, it's the person who wrote this thing. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, that's awesome.
Have a great time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
We're very sorry.
We're not sorry. We're enjoying ourselves immensely. Thank you.
It's
for
really
giving
good.
us a way to do that.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome.
Okay, so we were just at the end of phase 1 right now, with the description of names. So if anyone particularly wants to step forward, feel free, or I'll bring out the terrible dice again.
I did have an idea. What detail do you need from us at the moment?
I'd say a couple lines of description, like just the kind of thing that would make someone go, "Oh, okay, that person," if they looked at their party.
Okay, so I guess the archetype that I am most obviously is the rogue, but not really in a sneaky, stabby way, more in a plotting, social stealth, mastermindy kind of way. I was actually originally a henchman of the villain, and around about the time that the mutual betrayals happened, I'd been fighting against the party and pretended I'd come over to their side, and I got them into a meeting with the villain, and I realized that the villain's plans may not have been entirely kosher, and I warned this lot who I'd actually secretly become friends with. And so now I'm a former enemy, slowly gaining trust at different rates, as befits the drama.
So in other words, a career GM.
Well, that does sound reasonable.
But there are no such gods here.
I've never heard of this game master you speak of.
All right.
Okay, I feel like I was the fighter of this group. I was very punchy, very in everybody's face and everybody's business all the time. And there was no problem that I could not strangle the life out of, which I feel like got on everybody's nerves sometimes, until the very end when it helped to have a big tanky fool sending a barrage of anger at henchmen and whatnot that were trying to murder us. And also, It's she.
Yes.
She's a massive, beefy. Yeah. Yes, just that.
Good
Just
description.
that's him. Okay.
So, any particular takers for adventurer number 3?
Sassy. Who are you?
Sorry, there's fireworks going off in the background. Scaring me. So I feel like I'm sort of the healer of the group. Sort of in the background, bit of a wandering spirit. Doesn't say a lot, but likes to keep her friends alive, which didn't work. So she's not feeling too great. Probably just wandered around for a bit, in the wilds and stuff. Found the party, sort of thought I'll hang with these guys for a bit, and it turned into a bit longer. And just healing them and sort of going through.
I feel like we were best friends only because you had to keep healing me all the time.
Yeah.
So all those times that you had to be healing me, I'd be like talking about, and then I did this, and then I did this, and you're like, okay, can you just calm down?
Yeah, I'd be like, that's great, honey. I just need you to put your arm up, okay? Yeah, and tell me how you strangled them to excellent.
You broke it again.
Okay.
See? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Mike.
Oh, okay. I was actually hoping to sneakily wait till the end so I could make up one that could fit around all the others. But
not on this Twitch channel.
True, there is.
Not on this.
I mean, this is my Twitch channel. You're holding me
This is the
to
trash takeover. Now we tell you what to do.
Coup
We
d'etat.
will turn this Twitch channel around, so help me God.
Okay. I was probably the sort of like because we've had the heal caster. I was probably sort of the scholarly wizard who probably cast fireball. Not quite casting fireball every room. Not quite that cliche, but the kind of one who as soon as any sort of villain was defeated would be straight in the library trying to learn whatever secrets may lay within. And probably therefore got on quite well with the with Sable's infiltrator, considering similar fascination for dark secrets, though in my case it was purely academic, I assure you.
I feel like we had some sparring sessions where I tried so hard to get you to learn how to throw a proper punch. Don't put your thumb in your fist. You'll just break it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would nag you all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. Other Michael?
I think in this world, it is told as a rule of magic that those that are blessed with the gifts of restoring life will be twinned to those with the gifts of communing with death. I am...
God, every time.
Not only am I visually similar to Sassy in that I am a biological twin, garb-wise, I am essentially opposite. I wear black, often my ornamental pauldrons with skulls lashed to them, a wide-brimmed witch's hat made to be worn by those of my creed so that they can be identified within society as someone to be avoided and mistrusted. Much like my sister, I do not speak much. Although I have many opinions, by my station, they are quite often overlooked and dismissed. I am a necromancer.
Ooh, spooky.
Oop.
And then I'm not me. I'm gonna leave. The party's perfect. I love that Sable was angry that he didn't think to be a necromancer because he loves necromancers.
Didn't want to be a necromancer. Wanted to be a rogue.
Also, Sable, I swear every single time I see you, you've moved off slightly out of the frame.
Oh, if you expect me to sit still, then you're in for a shock.
We like to express Sable, in Panavision.
There we are. Okay. Yeah, I was just
Don't
trying to
put me in
find
your
one where.
boxes, Matt. I'm going to lean over this side now.
Ah.
Yeah, no,
Oh, you
trust
still
me.
didn't think this time.
There's no point. You've just got to let him roam.
Yeah, for anyone who's interested in a bit of behind the scenes on the 8U crew, I can probably guarantee Michael and I at various points have just gone recrop and then
Hold on. Hold
What I'm
on.
doing right now.
This is the first
Yeah.
time anyone said anything of this kind to me.
I've done that. When I run the stream, and
I am
you
within
keep following Sable.
I am within my Zoom box. And
Okay.
I'm sorry.
on the
if
stream it's a
I'm-
square, not a rectangle.
I'm
Okay.
sorry if I'm too awesome to sit still like a rock. What would you rather I was a plinth?
You're a plinth to us, a plinth of creativity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to change our Zoom names so that our people have names. Also, Izzy, you're next.
Yes, I am
Yeah.
next. So I was quite excited because when I heard Sable say that he was going to play a sort of roguey, bard, slide type of character, I thought, cool, very, very fitting. I like the idea of someone who's, a bit of an infiltrator, a bit of a whatever these elbows mean, a bit of an elbowsman, because
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
some propriety occurred. Because I think that the last addition to the party was the character who sort of is the addendum to Bree's fighter, who is the knifey boy who doesn't fully know whether or not they want to stand up and be a fighter the way that our fighter Tan would often step up and if something was going down, and I think based on the information we have, our hero was probably a paladin, god of life devotee, all the noble trappings, all of the protection stuff. Speaking as someone who plays a lot of paladins, I see paladin in her.
I was thinking paladin or especially fighty cleric myself if we're going with the D&D classes.
Yeah, but I like the idea that she taught Tan to go, no, a situation is happening, we must go get involved. And Tan was like, okay. I think my character, he was a little bit more, I'm not so keen on the getting involved part, but I guess I like you guys, I'm gonna help out. I don't want to be the stereotypical rogue, so I think probably more, if we're going class-wise, more rangery, more like I am good at the fighting, but I'm also fundamentally just trying to get on. And then we obviously had a bit of a found family thing going on. But I also think that he was the paladin's younger brother.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Crush our hearts with that.
Who came with
Okay.
her because she's too damn protective of other people, and she's got to have someone to watch her back.
Oh damn.
Oh.
And well, that dose the fields leads me right into the said fields. So before the stream, if you've bought the game from at Bubblegum Sam's H page, at this point, the entire party would roll 2d10 each and work out their feelings in secret. I asked for it to be done before the stream just to expedite things, so we didn't have all the dice roll sounds. And so now it's sort of time to start forming the memories of them. And I think I'm going to go through this a bit like we just did now with the thing. I think it's probably best to go through each one of the memories one at a time as a person, as sort of people. So the first one is a memory about it's to oh, also I forgot one thing, guys, so you're gonna have to think of this now. Writing down in secret what you wanted from the deceased when they were alive and whether or not you got it.
Already there. By accident.
That's fair. I will also need to think about this myself. But yeah, so the first memory of the four they were ones based on sort of before or around when the party was formed. And as I have no current ideas, I am going to say we start with other Michael.
Okay, so I think this is a fairly city-based scenario. We're dealing with houses, if nothing else, so maybe estates. And I certainly think, since I've enforced character pairing on me and Ash, I rather imagine, as I set it up, that necromancers, whilst common in the world, are pariahs. They're not welcome. They're shunned. And quite often can find themselves in spots of bother for the mere act of existing. And perhaps we were traveling, weary, and as in the old trope of gathering in a tavern, we caught the eye, certainly, of the hero, and perhaps of others that were there, because there was a brawl that kicked off. I say brawl. Someone punched me a lot until I was on the ground and then kept on punching. But our hero, despite the fact that I am this worm of a man, stepped up to at least rescue me from an immediate beatdown. I think that is how we met.
I feel like the exact opposite happened. In my scenario was when I came across our hero trying and almost failing to protect some probably some little orphan kids stealing food, and there was the shop owner was like, "How dare you do this, blah blah blah," and our hero was fighting back and trying to be heroic, but I don't think she was there yet. She was going to get into a bigger fight if she kept going, but she wouldn't. Obviously, you've got to protect these poor little orphans. And so I just stepped in with my glistening muscles between her and the shopkeeper, and I was like, we have a problem here. And it turns out you don't have a problem when you're staring 3 feet above you at the most probably beautiful person you've ever seen. And I think that's how we met, me and our hero.
So, as obviously the perspectives contradict each other, I'm vaguely guessing then that it's likely that Tan met the hero first, and then Necromancer, whose name I don't yet know. Caddis. I may or may not have actually given a name to my character. Give me a minute to fantasy name generators.
I think it's pretty obvious that Lysander has known the hero more and for longer. But does that mean that Lysander travelled with the hero?
I will get to it, I'm sure. Although I like the fact that I've been making the notes and I'm looking at it. I'm sure I'm stepping on later drama talking about, but I want to.
Is this a Google Doc?
Yeah, it's a Google Doc. Do you want it?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it isn't because I can't get on Google Docs. It's a Word doc.
Oh,
I don't know.
Never mind.
I will link it. I'll link you later. But I think looking at it, Ashric was her favorite. More on that story as it develops.
Give me a minute. I didn't realize that everyone had named themselves in this. Give me a minute.
Welcome to the intermission, where the track to apologise for being deeply extra at all times.
I think just keep things moving while Mike works about it.
I've got it.
For obvious narrative reasons, Ashric joined the party last because I think it was already a party for a while. The first time Ashric met the party, it was the quest where the hero and brother had to infiltrate a fancy gathering with the rest of you posing as various servants or lurking in the bushes, whatever betide you. And Ashric was in disguise as some minor noble or other and had been instructed to poison someone or other, some other NPC. And what Ashric had not realized is that the hero had some uncanny ability, and I'm not going to say it was a specific thing, but some uncanny ability to know when trouble was afoot. And for some reason, something about the way I was carrying a tray of drinks over to some friends made her realize something was up. And I felt her hand upon my arm, and she said, that's not very polite, is it? And she picked up the poisoned cup and poured it into a nearby planter. And then she looked me dead in the eye and said, don't try that again.
Yes. Ooh. I'm not muted. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I wasn't actually muted, so the I obviously wasn't on thingy, but I was muted in terms of my input. Yeah, I will go next. Denior, as my wizard has been newly christened. Probably the same evening as when Caddis and what's his name? Tisaya? Is that right? Tisaya? Tisaya. And Tisaya met her and Lysander. Probably the same evening, but a little bit earlier. Denio was fresh out of like whatever wizard academy there exists within this city. Entered the bar, literally having just moved into the area and just trying to find just someone to talk to because he just, just moved in, just wanted a night out. And the hero probably just, whilst they were both at the bar, they started chatting and was invited over to the table for the evening. And up until the brawl, was having a lovely time with new friends.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna, because we did the whole twins meeting hero, I think I'm gonna go a little bit back for us and say that the twins didn't originally start off together. I had gone off to live in wherever. I decided to, get used to healing people, go and be a traveling doctor or whatever. And then heard some, left their respective twin back home. And then after a while heard some rumblings of a necromancer about and thought, I'm gonna go and sounds a bit weird, and that heard more rumors and thought, I think I recognize this person. And then eventually caught up with Caddis and was like, right, well, I'm gonna have to stay around here because you're obviously gonna get yourself into trouble. And then one day they happened to walk into a tavern and Caddis got getting wailed on.
Really harsh beatdown. There's no fighting back. It's just pummel after pummel.
Yeah,
just the worst.
To say it was probably like, I don't know, petting horses in the barn or something. I was like, what does that sound?
So I do believe it's just
this is great.
So, winding the hero story way back, we see when she was younger and her family had fallen on somewhat hard times. As the eldest child, she would have a lot of arguments with our parents about the future of the family and the future of the estate and the way things were being managed and the fact that everything was going very, very poorly. A lot of stuff that Lysander didn't always pay attention to because he never expected to have to. And then one night he was like, just a second, Michael, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're doing in the whole world.
He's pulling focus. He can't help himself.
Jesus
Put my
Christ.
scarf on. I'm cold.
Put your scarf on like a normal person and then leave it alone.
Why are you wearing a
You have
scarf
no
like a
idea.
1940s refugee?
I was gonna say, there's very
He's come a long way from old country. Leave him alone.
It's playing it.
also you have no idea, Mike, how much you put on that scarf has made me think. There's a wizard robe across the room from me. I may go grab it. With my propensity of wearing outfits in this. But yes, continue.
And so one night he came up to bed after another stupid argument that the family were having and found his sister basically on the verge of sneaking out of the house with all her stuff and her horse saddled and ready to go. And they had a little argument about how she wasn't allowed to leave. And he always said it was because he didn't want to be left in charge if she had to go. But it was probably also because like they got on and he didn't want to be alone, just like the only child with their sort of faded noble parents. And so he said he would cover for her and she said she didn't want him to lie for her. And so he said, well, the only thing for it then is that I come with you, then I don't have to lie to our parents. And so he like grabbed 2 things from the sideboard and left with her that night. And says it was just like, oh, well, it was to stop an argument. It was the easiest thing to do, but like he didn't want her to go without her. Oh, why is she dead? I'm sad.
I don't like it.
It's almost as if this entire micro RPG is about dealing with all these emotions. I think the final person then is old Ashric. Is Ashric?
No, we did that. We did it already.
Oh, did we? Oh, we did. Yes, the society
Put
party.
away his poison, put away
We
his
did,
poison
yes.
drink, and it was the coolest thing. And we were all like, oh, who's that guy?
So yes, that is all
Dan
of us.
was like in the bushes or something because they're not going to be able to hide in this fancy party. They're just like looking through the window like a creep.
Okay. So this is. I'm going to possibly exclude Ashric from this second one, purely because from the sounds of it, Ashric made their turncoat move very like pretty much in the fight where the hero. The big fight against the villain. Am I right in that?
I thought it was
Or
a
was it
little
earlier?
before.
I'd like to think it was a little before that because I think we have been traveling together. I think the arc that, assuming this is like the last episode of the series,
Yeah.
I'd like to think it's been at least half a season, and
Okay.
Asheric's been on a really ambiguous redemption quest, and some of them have forgiven him, some of them haven't, kind of thing.
Okay. So the next one is then the first victory together as a party. So this would be probably the mid-season, like the mini boss from the mid-season that got killed. So the cutaway stopped going to started then going to the villain whose name I've already forgotten, but was expertly
Carlo
named.
Bloodeye.
And Carlo Bloodeye. Thank you.
Oh my god, though, is this then the fight that was sort of Ashric's like big step turn towards the light where he...
This was the face turn, the heel face turn. That is the right term, right? I don't do wrestling.
How would I possibly know that?
It's a sport.
It's the greasy weasel twist. Probably a wrestling move.
That's
Probably.
the maneuver we did during this fight.
Chime up in the comments. What does that mean? You too can get involved in this
Yes.
episode.
Please
Tell
do.
us what a greasy weasel twist
Part
is and
6
who did it
again,
and
what's
why.
a greasy weasel twist?
But yeah, anyway, so
Okay, so I think I would like to start off our first victory as a party with, the assumed natural one that I as a person would have rolled, in that I started the fight too early. I prematurely launched into it because I misunderstood the plan. So we started off behind. Like we already I already fucked up, you guys. Help. I think we like had this super good plan, and then I misheard the signal, and oh geez. I'm sorry. We didn't have the drop on them like we thought we would. I don't know what it was though. I don't know what the fight was. I just know that I fucked it up right from the start.
The last thing she hears before we roll initiative is just Lysander going, "Why are you like this?" And Caddis runs away. classic Caddis.
Bye.
Your gorgeous was charming at first and is now indifferent at best.
Oh, what if it was infiltration or something?
That could be a good possible idea. And I have a feeling that when all hell broke loose, as it inevitably does with a rolling of a natural one, that Denio ended up at one point in this fight. Because I have a feeling if we're partway through like a television season now, we've all like those in the party with magical abilities probably have some like pretty decent ones. He's probably cast something a little like he's found in a tome, but is a bit more powerful than he can control. And and so in the fight, there's this like whirling vortex of magical energy and stuff going around. And at one point, our hero, she stands in front of Denior as the vortex tries to go towards the both of them until essentially stays there in case the vortex come close as he tries very hard to control it. So he stood there behind her, just sort of trying his hardest to push it away from them and towards these enemies. And she's just stood there, shield ready, ready to somehow use the powers of the God of Life to stop this from happening and getting them both.
Oh. It sounds like two natural ones happened a little bit. Oops.
Whomsoever chooses to be next.
Well, I think the change of heart that led to this fight. This wasn't meant to be a fight. This was meant to be an execution. This was meant to be me walking the party into a trap that would just shut on them. And that's one big thorn in Blood Eye's side, gotten rid of, and we're the last obstacle, and then the way is clear. But along the way, I'm like, actually, do you know what? Blood Eye is kind of a twat, and maybe I don't want him running the city. And I'm also pretty sure this trap is meant to shut around me as well, and I'm me. So at the last minute, he probably does this kind of Blood Eye does this whole Ashric, the peacemaker. Well done, you've managed to bring these two enemies together. And the party's like, okay, well, maybe we can work with this guy. Maybe it's all right, and maybe this is the hero's doing. Maybe she was a big believer in everyone fundamentally being pulled towards good. And Ashric realizes from the in Game of Thrones, you can see the crossbowman up in the balcony, or whatever the equivalent is. And he just turns and he tells them to run. And then he whips out a dagger and goes to stab at the enemy. And that's what kicks off the fight. It doesn't go well because obviously the fight then happens, and I guess the enemy probably gets away. I'm not quite sure. I imagine they get away because they're not defeated yet, are they?
Yeah, I was kind of under the impression that there would have been Blood Eye and one of their lieutenants.
Yeah,
and essentially Blood Eye has run and left the lieutenant to coordinate the trap.
Yeah,
as soon as the fight started.
Yeah, I think literally the fight starts and it's the equivalent of smoke bomb. And Blood Eye's gone, and then it's all a shit show. Meanwhile, Ashric is fighting kind of both parties at once because half of this party has twigged that he was the traitor all along. But he's kind of spending most of his time trying to make sure not too many people die, especially himself. Because he's still not a great guy.
But he will be.
He might be. He was not at that point.
In season 2.
Lives in you.
I feel like Tisea would be healing, obviously. But she would have twigged that maybe Ashric wasn't totally on our side, but sees that he's trying to help, and therefore it's sort of it's healing the party, but it's also sort of healing Ashric on the sly, just to make sure he doesn't die, even if the other members of the party are wailing on him, just enough so that we could get rid of the lieutenant and then calm down.
I mean, what is a tavern brawl between good friends? Sorry.
It was to say in that moment, magical moment, where she got to decide whether we kept Ashric alive or whether he he got a nasty injury, and she basically got to go, I could just do it. She's not a nice healer. She'd be like, I could just do it. I could just end you now. And then she was
I'd like to think it was something like this lieutenant that had been left behind had this enchanted dagger, right? And it poisons any wound that it makes. And Ashric's been slashed with it. And Tisea's okay, I guess I've got to heal you because whatever. But Tisea consents with her cool, because she's a medic, right?
Yeah.
goes, "This wound is poisoned. A normal healing spell will close the wound, but he will die eventually." And she kind of has this flashback to all the really ghastly shit Ashrik's done, and for a moment goes, "I don't have to save him."
I could make it look like I've saved him.
Yeah, like you close the wound and he goes, "Thank you, I can't believe we're friends." And 8 hours later, he just drops dead.
Imagine.
Is Tisea the sort of healer where every now and then she might just go up and just be like, "I could have done it, you know."
Yeah, it was often just
What?
in the middle of the bar.
I had the last breakfast pastry. Yes, I should have let you die.
She just gets really drunk one day and just goes around the party and it's like, right, this time I could have let you die, but
So we haven't. We're obviously doing personalities as we go, but is the idea that Tisea is the healer, but is properly like, "I can fuck you up, mate. I know several ways to make your bones implode." And Caddis is the necromancer who's like, just broadly speaking, like helping people. Sometimes someone needs to speak to their dead, or you need to make sure that the graveyard doesn't come back. So just help out.
like so we're meant to have the opposite personalities where like Necro Boy is meant to be like, "Oh, dead people," but actually I'm like, "Oh, alive people."
I am the knight. Are you though? Damn it.
I'm not, but I'm trying.
No, I am the knight, and the knight needs his snuggly blanket.
What I like about
I
the
just
way
go-
this is going for I think as a finale, mid-season finale, this fight was very much we become the worst of ourselves and then bring it back. So Tan rushes in and gets in way too deep. But is able to kind of start coordinating more, probably with Ashrik in that fight. Ashrik has the moment of, this is the point where I betray the party, but you know what? I want to be better than that. Tisaya probably that's always, you've never liked him. You've never trusted Ashrik, and you've always, we know it as an audience watching this. The moment I get a chance, I'm just going to kill him. Maybe she knows something that we don't, but for some reason can't explain it. But it's always been, the moment I get a chance, he's done. And then that's like the belief in, suddenly believing in his sincerity.
And also, once he's like, once we're like sort of leaving and stuff, I just tap him on the shoulder and be like, "I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed." Really passive aggressively.
Hell yes.
I think because I like I've set up Caddis as the one beneath Ashrik, I think, in terms of trustworthiness, because of my station. And I think it's always been like, I'm very talented at what I do. If you just hear me out, summon a skeleton, then it's one more ally. It's generally frowned upon. But I think my part to play in this kind of our lowest selves becoming our most triumphant selves is I'm given that trust. And it's not just like one skeleton. I bring in a fucking horde.
Oh no.
And it turns the tide.
Yeah. Maybe that horde's sort of like essentially Denio's spell that he did that went out of control, that the hero then had to essentially stop him from being sucked into this vortex. Maybe the fact the horde was there and the magical energies from the horde as just existing, being beings of bone and magic, was just what amplified it.
The vortex pierces through the realms, including the realm of the dead. So I'm able to I can turn this shit inside out. I can make it go in our favor.
Hell yes. So I
And
think...
of course, along the way, a lot of those anonymous crossbowmen up in the gallery are flung to their deaths by the vortex, giving you a little bit of building material.
Oh no.
I think the only person now with a memory left is Lysander.
Do we have any bits left to actively cover that needs to have happened in the fight, or is it just?
How did the fight end? Like, we were assuming we won it, but.
I mean, we have a stabby rogue whose memory.
So remember how? Might cast your mind back way back when in our notes about our hero, the paladin, who's survived worse scrapes than this. I like the idea that this boss we were fighting had some information we needed, and was also one of Blood Eye's nastier lieutenants, and she was fighting with this horrible lieutenant who has the poison stabby dagger, you know. And we know that it's nasty, and we've seen, you know, everything's been set up by the GM to be like, this is a real nasty fight, and we're all coming in like, we're gonna lose a character today, it's gonna be really big, this is the big boss fight. And maybe our hero gets like that very dramatic full-on, you know, side stab, and like gets chucked into, like, you know, off a ledge onto the next bit of floor, or like, you know, off the side, or in a situation where they're out of the fight for a few rounds. Maybe they're paralyzed, maybe something bad happens, and you know, we are caught up with about 4 different things at once. You know, maybe in that moment, like, Tan finally hits the ground, so Tisea can't go to the hero because she's literally getting Tan back to her feet, and like, you know, everything's happening at once. And then we stop this lieutenant, and like, Lysander's real mad, and Lysander's real sort of, he's always been very overconfident in his fighty abilities, and he's less of a Tan sort of, I'll punch it to death, more the kind of, well, if we kill him, then the problem is solved. And everyone's like, no, you know, the whole arc is the hero trying to teach Lysander to, you know, have mercy and compassion and stuff like that. But I think in that moment, Lysander's real mad. And so despite the fact that our plan was to take the lieutenant alive, that is not how the fight ends. And like, Lysander's really upset, and then we get the whole, like, Tisea goes and checks on her, and she goes, no, she's paralyzed, she's not dead, and like, you know, helps her back up, and it's, you know, false alarm. But like, we were all really shaken, and Lysander's really shaken by it, doesn't want to talk about it, and it's one of those.
And I imagine, if like, going back to the sort of like TV show metaphor of this, like, either the end of the episode, like, as like a sort of starting of conflict, something, there's a big conflict between the hero and Lysander, of this, like, you shouldn't, even though you thought I was dead, you shouldn't have killed him, from our hero, but, and you arguing back, just like, no, he murdered you, I was fully in my right to, and it solved the problem, and all these things. It's just this big final scene before things sort of start calm off for the credits.
Just because you survived doesn't mean I didn't watch you die.
That is a good line.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Same.
It's a good t-shirt.
That is a good t-shirt, and I think, considering that is also the end of the that second memory, and we are at over an hour in now, I think it now would be a good time for a break if people are also. So yeah, I will throw some Nightbot commands into the chat. First of all, today's role-playing game is, as can be told by the thing there, Death of a Hero by Bubblegum Sam, who is or was in this chat somewhere. It's been really fun so far, and there's still some more to go. So yeah, we'll be. Also, I have a Discord. It is there. I'm just throwing all the Nightbot commands in before we go to the break. And then these guys, I think it's that one. I can't remember what command I gave you. It's either 8U Crew or Trash Crew, and I can never remember which one. It's not that one. Crew. It's Trash Crew. These lovely fellows are of the 8U Trash Crew, and I sometimes stream with these guys on their Among Trash streams every Tuesday. Well, was every Tuesday, but I think this Tuesday it is the return of one of their 2 flagship games, Star Trek Iskander.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
I think.
Michael, who's running that?
What I was going to say,
it's
one
been
of
used since August, babe.
Since August. Oh shit.
So yeah, and also because and as I appeared on a stream with him a couple weeks ago, I also feel like I again, wrong command. That one of them. I have also occasionally I've streamed before with Hefty Yeti, and we do role playing stuff there. And there hopefully shall be more soon on that. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. And Hefty Yeti is streaming right now. So in these next, let's say, 10 minutes, come back at 10 too. For the next 10 minutes, maybe you can go over there and watch him. But
don't go over there. You should watch our BRB screen instead.
Yeah, come back, get a drink, make yourself a cup of tea. You'll need tea and like a good cake for the finale, because we're gonna cry.
Yeah, or a sturdy biscuit.
Plan on crying.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
so I shall see you all in 10 minutes. Bye-bye!
Bye.
We're back! Hey! Sorry, I need to work out how to do like a transition and then it turns all the volumes back on. But yeah, welcome back everybody. I hope you all had a good break. I refilled on the beer. Drink responsibly, kids.
I'm muted, but I was mad that you didn't give me one.
The ITU crew does not condone underage drinking.
Well, what I like
Exactly.
about that is the Motherwell man condones underage drinking, but only if done responsibly.
I'm 31. I can have a beer.
Babe, I'm talking about the model railwayman.
I am of the legal age of drinking.
You're about 9.
You're not the legal age of drinking in America.
Yeah, you're not you're a baby in America.
Only for 2 months. In 2 months' time, I will be of legal drinking age in America.
I am legal at drinking age.
Oh my god.
I thought I was still 18. Fucking.
Ash just had this horrible revelation. She's fully 3 years older than she was.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm snacking on dry chocolate shreddies that I feel like I'm 18.
Hey,
Ash is clearly 25.
Hey, Ash, you will never have a worse pain in your entire life than the day that you can't snack on dry shreddies anymore because they give you heartburn.
Oh
no. That day is coming.
It is indeed. And speaking of people's days coming, we are up to
just want her back.
Our memories of the fight against the villain. So, as far as I can tell, like if we're going back to the thingy scene, to me this sort of screams. This is, the final is obviously finale is obviously a two-parter. The first part is the like the big fight, and then it stops halfway through at some point when a blade's at a throat or something, and then say about halfway through episode 2 we defeat the villain, the hero is passed on, and the rest of the episode is pretty much this game. So fight against the villain, and we have lost our necromancer again. I assume we've lost Caddis again, but so instead we shall start with Ashric. What were you doing for episode 12? I'm assuming this is a 13-episode season.
Obviously, that's a perfectly logical number of episodes. So this is have we defeated the villain?
This is the big fight. The villain was not, if I recall, the villain escaped or was being powered by a patron or something. I think it was both. This is the fight where we're fighting them in this episode, but it looks like we're going to lose.
So I think unless it's literally not the structure of the story, my thinking was we have defeated the villain, but just in time to discover that they're not even the big bad. Like, there's something behind the scenes we should be worrying about.
Well, that will probably be in the end of episode 13. After we've discovered the hero's dead, we find this tome that says the patron is there.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, I got
season
you. Yeah,
2.
so okay, fine. So we're confronting the villain. They've failed to. Halfway through the season, they failed to assassinate our heroes, and they've now done what villains sometimes do in shows, which is they've turned everything up to 11. They've come up with some ridiculous plot, like fill the city's water supply with something, or replace everyone's coffee with bees. And the plot is about to happen, and we're like, this is a race against time. And I think the fight starts, unlike the ambush, which started in this really kind of dramatic run, stab, vortex kind of way. This one's actually kind of builds up kind of messily, and almost like how, and sometimes in D&D there's the trope of the last dungeon revisiting a lot of monsters that you fought throughout the campaign. So the first few fights are, you don't even really roll them. You just go, I easily dispatch the room full of goblins, and then you move on. So like, I think we have a bunch of that kind of stuff, because it is as well as being our TV show, it is also a D&D game. And I think we come across, like coming across Guy Fawkes under Parliament, we come across a bunch of the low-ranking minions of the enemy, and maybe we realize too late the plan is slightly more advanced than we thought. So not only do we have to fight to stop them releasing the rest of the bees into the city's coffee supply, we also have to make sure that all of the local Starbucks aren't selling bees to everyone. So the party's got to split up dramatically, and we know that there's only one place we're destined to meet, Castle Blood Eye. Don't call it that, but
too late.
Yeah.
Maybe Blood Eye Estate. you know, it's like the grand house of the Blood Eye
That's it,
family.
yeah.
been around
The
for
Blood
ages.
Eye, the Blood Eye compound, where it's like this Corleone style walled compound. He's got all of his gangsters and bastards on the walls. Like
Yeah.
he knows we're coming. And
Mm.
but what he doesn't know about Ashric is when because Ashric always plans to betray. Ashric stole a map to the compound and knows a secret way in.
I might actually switch off Nightbot. 'Cause Nightbot is having more of a reign of terror than Blood Eye is right now.
We should have just called him Nightbot.
We should have done.
Our nemesis. Maybe Nightbot was the golem that was guarding, that was distributing the evil gas. That was gonna,
Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to switch off the. I'm going to disable all the Nightbot spam protection things. Please do not spam my chat, please.
Here comes the spam.
There we are.
Look at that.
Ash, you've actually inspired me. And if I may, rather than replacing everyone's coffee with bees, how about an actual idea? What if the plan was actually Operation Sleeping Beauty, and he's built a bunch of golems called Nightbots, and they're fancy suits of armor, and they're in all the noble houses. Everyone needs to get these new Nightbots, but one day they will all emanate a sleeping spell that will put the whole city to sleep.
Turn
Possibly,
on
yes.
every family and just wail.
And the
So,
K
yeah.
peels off.
So yeah, I'm kind of envisioning.
Wait, is it
Yeah.
actually- I have a question. Is this actually happening? Because I'm making notes.
Yeah,
yes.
I like this.
Nightbots.
Nightbots. Fuck you, Nightbot.
They go
So,
rogue.
Don't
as
blame
part-
Nightbot.
so as part of the villainous fight, we discover a bunch of Nightbots under the city.
Yes. I think
And
that's
they're
where
like
we got to.
controlled by some
Well, we discover
weird rune.
the ritual circle where all the Nightbots are being one by one switched on.
Yeah.
So we know that like half the noble houses in the city have been completely, and like half the poor districts, they've been completely switched off by these Nightbots. So it's a race against time.
So yeah, I can imagine that like, as this is going on, Denio is trying to sort of work out how to both reuse the ritual stuff later, but also how to like essentially switch all of them off at the same time, as in like the switch off the Nightbots, not the districts. And I think at this point he's probably been. I can imagine like an earlier episode or session, he's tried to do some magic and gotten like really discouraged. Maybe the magical vortex has kind of made him go, I don't want to mess with the powers from this particular tome again, and this is from said tome. But he just gets a hand on his shoulder from our hero, and like a sort of like just a nod from her, kind of thing. Just like, yeah, you can do this. I will be with you, and I will be here with my shield if this fucks up. And it kind of gives him that power, there's that sort of swell emotion of him being able to do that. Sort of like ready for the final fight. And although, like, it sort of like stops the Nightbots, but doesn't stop the other levels of scheme that go on within all this. And obviously there is still a Blood Eye to kill.
Oh, have we already decided how the hero dies?
No, we haven't. That's the next
Oh,
one.
yeah. So we're just,
This is still the fight. I
This
think
is
if anyone has an idea to jump in, but I have an idea for like the next level,
okay.
Go on then.
right? So we have the night bots are happening, and maybe we extort some more information from a minion about. There's another layer to this plot for sure. And I had an idea, but as I'm talking,
Extortion
it's not
target.
going to work.
Extortion target.
Extortion.
I mean, like, it kind of works on the stream more than thing. I was pointing at you.
I've had an idea for another layer, but I keep talking, so I better keep talking.
Yeah.
Go on if you got one.
No, keep talking, because I wanted to. My point was I wanted the hero to have to step in because I realize this is over my head. I don't know what to do.
So my thought was the hero who has this canonical sense that something's about to go wrong, or that something isn't quite kosher. They're a rabbi, and they is looking over this ritual circle while Denior's like, okay, ritual circles. You've got this. You know ritual circles. And there's all these nodes on the circle. There are all these different noble houses in different parts of the city. And the hero puts a hand on Cadis's shoulder and goes, something's wrong with those ones. And this is when Cadis goes, yeah, those nightbots aren't set to sleep. They're set to kill. Because you recognize necrotic energy pouring through the ritual circle. So we know that actually this plot goes a bit deeper. Some people aren't going to be waking up.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Shall we lead on then to Cadis's memory of the encounter?
And can maybe Cadis answer a key question that I am posing based on that information?
Do so.
The hero and by extension Lysander's family, are they in the sleep pile or the kill pile?
They are, I think, and this is the thing. I maybe this becomes my memory of it. Your family are on the sleep pile because Blood Eye, isn't it?
Yes.
Blood Eye.
Blood Eye's entire scheme isn't just to wipe out the population. If you remember, Blood Eye's scheme is to raise themselves up to a position of major domo. If you also remember, we were talking about that the Blood Eye would have thought we were along with the plan until a pivotal moment. I think Blood Eye is trying to elevate your family, essentially to raise you up through bone and blood and the corpses of all nobles that would have stood before you from this position, this negative position that you were in, thinking that there is something that can be bought into in terms of your vengeance and your feelings of being mishandled and mistrusted. Blood Eye wants you to become the ruling body. Blood Eye has never themselves wanted the throne. Blood Eye wants to be the guy behind the guy, to borrow a phrase.
The Whisperer.
And so that is your family, and this is another shocking revelation. Your family are not only set to sleep, but your family are going to look like the orchestrators of this. And it will be celebrated as a monumental victory as part of the new world.
And this leads back into the bit that mentioned earlier.
Villain didn't have hatred towards the hero, didn't actually want to kill them.
I was thinking also the one of like making the party look like the one who orchestrated it as well. Because you've got two members of this new ruling family there.
Mm-hmm. Does that jive with you, Lysander? Do you like that?
Attempted to make a scapegoat for a terrible crime. It's all coming together perfectly.
Indeed.
All right, carry on, Cadis. What happened?
Well, turns out, as much as Blood Eye trusted Lysander and our hero, Blood Eye didn't have as much trust for us. Ashric had already betrayed once before, and whilst Ashric had thought he'd kind of slipped under Blood Eye's ire, we, Ashric, Cadis, Denior, Tasaya, Tan, we were people that they knew they were going to have to deal with at some point. And so in the part where we have to separate and where we're trying to get the news out and where we're trying to deal with anything, we are each of us targeted by what is essentially, and to borrow from the idea of the point where you fight, almost like the Bosch Rush scenario, we end up having to fight against mercenaries or other villains that have been specifically chosen to counter our skill set, who single us out and try to take us out.
And I can imagine also like playing on like the lack of confidence and things as well, like so like for example going back to the whole like being like feeling really unconfident about the ritual circle stuff is just being, I imagine Denior has just been face down with these magical troops he has no hope in hell of being able to deactivate, or at least that's what they think. But yeah,
I like the idea of the matched foes. That's always a good trope for this stage of the story.
Indeed. And
I feel like my memory from this as Tan would be that every time we uncover new information, it's always more devastating than the information we had just gotten, which was also devastating. And it's just getting more and more oppressive.
It's almost like
I
a
think-
finale of a program.
Yeah. After every like emotional blow, our hero just like wipes the blood off of her lip and just gets more and more determined to keep going, even though it's looking like it's too big of a fight for us to win. And I think, I want her to be my wife so bad.
Maybe she's about to be.
How dare you?
Don't you dare.
How
Don't
dare
you.
you?
Maybe in fact, after this is all over, we go off and we just start our life together.
God damn it.
Damn it, Sable.
No. So I had an idea for a faintly comedic
Cool.
section of the fight, if you don't mind. Well, not comedic, but kind of a
Yeah.
light-hearted one, where this is the really intense episode. The audience knows this is the really intense episode, and we actually, part of the episode, we actually see these squad of mercenaries that Mike mentioned, the ones that have been specifically put in place to target each of us, and we see a pair of them in particular. One of them is just this huge guy, and he's got this kind of weird vibe about him, like, oh, what's his deal? Like he interacts with people in kind of a strange way, and it turns out he's got these really weird rules. Like he's one of those kind of mysterious assassin characters, and he's got this sidekick who's like his apprentice, you know. And this big guy just gut punches Ashrick and is like, what are you gonna do about it? You can't bribe me, you can't blackmail me, there's no subtle manipulation you can do to win this fight. Look at you, you're tiny. What are you gonna do? You can't kill me at all because you can't make me betray anyone. And Ashrick looks up and goes and says, no. Got to the other guy though, and then his apprentice puts a crossbow bolt through his head and takes a sack of coins from Ashrick, who goes, oh Jesus, and just sort of walks off to the rest of it.
I love Ashrick. He's my favorite.
He's
They're all my favorites.
He's a shit.
Yes, but we all know that he's the kind of shit that I'd go, that character's my favorite. And you'd go, is he have bad taste? And I go, yes.
We're still missing two memories, I think. Tisaya and Lysanders.
So I hear like, these are all really good and I can't think.
I'm happy to give you some more. I think if Izzy's happy to go first, then some more time there. We're having things written down.
I'm not sure what.
I have one thought which I would love to hear your thoughts on, because like in this world building I've insisted on this duality between these twins, that one is in tune with life, one is in tune with death. It would strike me that the way that we resolve the people that have been sent specifically to kill us is to kill the other persons, or attack and defeat the other person's mercenary. I want it to be a scenario though where we're separated and we need to both have figured it out at the same time, and then struggle to get to each other, but I don't know how we locate each other.
Weird twin tuition.
That could be it.
Nice. I was going to say, you could also throw in something like, obviously relating this back to the hero that's pulled this party all together. Something like the hero's within shouting range just about, but not the other twin. If that makes any sense?
Down like corridors or something.
And so there's, going back to the idea of like a bit more of the light-hearted moment, there's this bit where like you're Chinese whispering to each other. And presumably the hero in her like state of goodness, and obviously that means she's got to pass forward on anything that comes from like one twin to the other. She hears some insult when you get the wrong idea about this particular encounter or something, and one of you just goes, "For fuck's sake."
Actually, I think I know the situation that she's in. She's the tactful one. So actually what it is Caddis being like, I just wish you wouldn't be so critical all the time. He wishes he wouldn't be so critical all the time. Kind of fuck off. Your sister loves you very much and says that she'll try harder in future.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Lysander watches her do it and is like, just lied to her. And she's like, what? It's not a vow I took. It's just distasteful to lie sometimes. Yeah, me now.
I'm a big sucker for the reveal of paladins can lie.
Yeah, especially in the like the bit before the gut punch that we will come to soon. But have you got a big memory?
See, if I don't give my memory, then she never dies.
We are not Red Dead Redemptioning this.
No, the scene never continues. Therefore, thank you all for coming. We look forward to.
Izzy knows it's my stream.
Hello, I'm the Modern Railway Man.
No.
I love trains and the North.
Hold up a moment.
Don't you mute me. Don't you dare mute me.
I wasn't going to mute you. I was actually going to, because I'm not sure how to mute specific people on this. I was actually going to swap us around, but...
No. It would have been a funny bit, but you'll have complained and it would have been far more bothered than it's worked. Anyway, Sander. So, we've discovered this sinister plot to kill certain nobles in the city. I believe Ashric has... believes that we can have the location of the villain that we just need to get to. I think it comes down to a choice where we can go straight away and guarantee catch the villain, catch Blood Eye off guard, using Denior's vortex magic, or we can go and be guaranteed to put a stop to his scheme. But it's basically save all these people or defeat our final enemy, and it actually boils down to a blazing mid-fight row between Lysander and the hero, because Lysander is like, what is the point of doing any of this if we do not stop Vencarlo? Because he will do this again. He has resources and means, and if he disappears, then we have done all this for nothing and we have lost him. And if we lose him for good, then who knows if we'll ever catch him again. And she goes, what is the point of doing any of this if we let those people die? And he's like, you don't owe them anything. They hate you. They hate our family. And she's like, that is not the point. And that's the kind of rallying point for us, that she manages to persuade Lysander. And therefore the party, as they are, as this fight is blazing on, that we have to potentially give up the chance of stopping Blood Eye in order to save those people. And that's the decision that Lysander makes.
I think, just to touch on something, because I didn't really give a decent memory, it wasn't too great. I feel like, these Nightbots are releasing this sort of gas or something, and I think the only way to, like, reverse it is to use a counter, spell that Tissaia would know, but to use it, she would not be able to heal the party as much as she would like. And perhaps the hero has said, like, if it comes down to it, you heal everyone else but me, or like, don't worry about me.
Maybe it's more that Tissaia is like obviously weakening herself, and she's always like, no, I've got to hold on to a bit, and like the hero goes, no, it's okay, we're fine, we've got resources, and like encourages Tissaia to not feel like she has to hold back. And then in the end, Tissaia's like, I'm too tired, and she's like, oh, she encouraged me. Oh, she did that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Especially after you did all that work for Ashric and helping her not be full of poison as well.
It's fair enough.
So, with all 6 memories concluded, we're on to the final stretch of the memories. we are at the death of the hero. So I'm imagining that this fight is on the grounds of Chateau Blood-Eye. Chateau Blood-Eye. There's like I can't remember the first name, but Blood-Eye essentially has sent away their guards, thinking they are now untouchable. They have now finally lent on that power of the patron. And I will probably let someone else go first for this, because I have an idea of what particularly happened between Denior and the hero at her death, but I want to see what the people do first. So,
well, I was thinking about when Izzy was talking about Lysander and their conversation. Do we save? Do we have the choice? Do we save the people? Do we stop Vencalo or whatever? And I think that during the many conversations between the hero and Ashric, which have been around Ashric's done a lot of shit and isn't sure if redemption is possible, if forgiveness is possible, or anything like that. But they've kind of been trading secrets, so not secrets, but they've kind of been trading philosophies. Ashric has been trying to learn the way of, faith and redemption, and has been trying to help the poor dumb paladin perhaps be a little bit less of a goody two shoes. And has filled her with a simple philosophy: when two plans present yourself and you have to choose both. And I think that's the decision that that gets the hero ultimately in trouble, because she realizes there is a way to do both, but it requires desperate timing and not necessarily filling us all in on what the plan is, because we try and stop her.
Especially me. I especially try to stop her.
So she doesn't tell you.
Yep. So that feels real bad. Thanks.
But like I said, I considering that I really root for the paladin spy bard friendship arc. I like the idea that Ashric knows more than he's letting on, and there's like that kind of flashback to that moment where she's telling him this stuff and he's like, I don't know what you expect me to do about it. This probably won't happen. And she's like, you're the only one I can guarantee to do the pragmatic thing and do what needs to be done, whatever that is, whatever we decide needs to be done. And he's like,
yeah. I have to admit a little bit, I missed some of that because I had to go tell someone to shut up, hence the "yeah, Catherine" in the chat. So, gaining from context clues, was it a choose both? So Ashric essentially not murdered the hero, but put the hero in the position where the hero died to try and sort both objectives that needed to be done out, kind of thing. Oh.
No, Sorry, Sable, you go ahead.
Was that question just to me? Sorry.
Yeah, it's to anyone really, because I missed it a little bit.
It was more over time. Ashric and the hero have been kind of getting to understand each other's worldviews, and the hero goes, "No, of course you're right. We have to save these people." And then she looks at Ashric, and he goes,
right.
And I think it's for the sake of Ashric's arc, I do want him to realize what the hero's plan is and to actively decide to neither stop her nor tell anyone else.
Right. Okay. Now I get you. Awesome. Okay.
But it's her plan, not his.
Of course.
I think maybe just circling back to the mid-season boss fight. It could be something to do with there is a poisonous dagger, and because we're so like overwhelmed, I don't necessarily realize it's a poisonous dagger. And heal, and then
Is her getting stabbed by a poisonous dagger twice in a finale, like, oh, third time's the charm? Like, what?
Who's getting stabbed?
the hero.
Oh, I thought she like exploded in a paladin flame.
Well, maybe she
That's what I was
I had
thinking.
another idea. Are we at the death?
Like,
of the
yeah.
hero yet?
We're at the
we're
death.
at death. I was
Like
going to ask you for
unleashing
your
something
thoughts,
too
but you didn't say it.
powerful.
I was going to ask you for your thoughts, but you didn't say anything, Sable.
Yeah, we're at the memories of the death itself.
Oh, so my thought, this is my pitch for it, is working with Caddis and Denior, who I think have probably not gotten on by and large because they're very different philosophies about magic. Like Caddis is part of essentially a magical underclass, but you know, this is bigger than that. This is no one can work with necrotic energies quite like a necromancer, but no one can manipulate ritual circles quite like a college wizard like Denior, or whatever Denior's kind of wizardry is. So they're working together, and Ashric knows not one single fuck damn thing about any of it, but is very good at very quickly understanding what other people are talking about and sort of passes on various messages. And my pitch for how the hero dies is she realizes that these necrotic energies are being summoned. The night bots aren't summoning the necrotic energies, they're channeling the necrotic energies. If we shut down the night bots, that energy has to go somewhere, and I think she realizes that someone has to stand in the middle of the ritual circle and take them all. So my pitch is this: there's this flash of darkness, and we can imagine such a thing because we don't have to visually design it.
We don't
There's
need.
this
We don't have
overwhelming,
effects like it.
deafening silence. And our friend is asleep in the center of the circle. Not dead, but never to live again, because the moment she wakes up,
She dies.
she'll be called to her grave. So now she's kept forever in a magical sleep, but there is no true love's kiss that will wake her up. There is no reversing this curse, because this is not a spell that can be dispelled. This is not a curse. This is no will of the gods. This is all of this raw energy from the nether plane or wherever this dark crap comes from. And her soul is strong enough to hold it.
But nothing else.
But nothing else. And as soon as the sleep spell wears off, death is the only thing that's possible. And I think in this world, a sacrifice cannot be undone. Like, you can't sacrifice yourself and then be resurrected. I don't know if resurrection magic is a thing, but you can't sacrifice yourself and then come back. And I think everyone knows that. And I think there's a scene where we've more or less got this fight against Blood Eye in the bag. And the hero realizes she now has to slip off downstairs to the ritual circle, because if anyone sees her doing it, they'll stop her, they'll argue, it'll waste time, and then the necrotic energy will burst out throughout the entire city block, right? So she goes down, and Ashric's kind of already looking in that direction, and they share a look that's a bit ambiguous. Like, he looks like, is he going to try and stop her? And he just doesn't, and turns around and carries on the fight. And then when the fight's over and we realize that she's not there, I think Tan realizes that she's not there. Ashric just looks at her and he looks absolutely devastated, and he just says, "I'm sorry."
I would now like to interject and tell this from Denior's perspective, because I feel that at this point, I feel that Denior originally, as the one who pretty much had no ties to anybody outside of the party, was like going to do that first, but was kind of worried that his soul would not be strong enough to hold the energies like the heroes would be. But he thought, okay, I can hold it for long enough that someone else can come deal with it. So he'd set off his magical vortex and then just left it running. Like, for anyone, like, to the naked eye, it would look like it was still going all over the place, as it was before. But to Denior, or to possibly Caddis and Tisea, it's a little bit more erratic because it's just left on autopilot. Because Denior snuck down before the hero and stood in the circle waiting for the moment to come and bracing himself. And so what he sees in this circle is the hero coming down into this crypt, this sewer, this whatever it is. And at the climax of this, everything's building up. They hug. Nothing more. It's like as if like two long lost family members were hugging. And then Denior like pretty much faints alongside the hero, who is now bound to eternal sleep. I'm not sure if Ashric would have noticed Denior initially disappearing. I assume not, assuming the chaos meant that the wizard was still there. But, it's that kind of thing of he disappeared and the hero essentially was like essentially like sort of that look of like, we'll do this again like we did before. I'll protect, like a sort of like I'll protect you, little brother kind of thing. And then, Daniel blacks out to be roused by the party, and probably giving some of the members of the party who are more distraught about this hope that the hope that our hero could also have been awoken.
I'm going to hop right in on the back of that. Throughout the series, Caddis has exhibited a strange habit. He counts crows. Whenever there are crows, he stops, he counts. And it's never, ever explained up until the final episode. And it's not really explained here. It's not explained yet. But on the morning of battle, where we know we are about to move forwards, he is sat. It's probably been like previous episode needs to have been very joyful for us all. He is sat, probably better dynamic with the party and with his sister than he has ever had before. He looks up to the sky and he sees 3 crows in flight. And that's the phrase he's always said, kind of muttering to himself throughout the series, 3 crows in flight. When he sees that, it's the conversation that happens is completely away from everyone. No one knows what was said. But at that point, Caddis pulls the hero to one side. They have a quiet conversation. And the only part that the audience gets to know about it is that he says the words, "There's something you need to know about what's next."
Sorry, like I should cry at this, but I just saw what Izzy was mouthing. But that is good, Mike. That is good.
I picked that. We could have been having a dumb adventure doing something else. I picked the one that would make us cry.
We could have been.
Okay, but I agreed, and I said yes. Hurt me, Daddy.
Yeah, but
So...
I make dumb decisions and you back them up. That's how this goes. You have plausible deniability, and you shouldn't call him Daddy. He's like half your age.
Wait.
I meant you.
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm Daddy.
I was gonna say. Good.
Yikes,
Whatever.
Monday.
Whatever you want, Brie. You got it, babe. Okay. So, do you want to go last, or should Lysander go last? How are you feeling, Tam? Oh no, we haven't had to say it yet either.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Go.
I think from Tisea's perspective, she's healing as best as she can, trying to regain some energy so she can wake people up. I think she realizes Denia's thing is on autopilot and automatically assumes he's fallen in battle. You know, he's like been struck. So I feel like she's trying to run around the room, healing people as she goes, and also trying to look for Daniel because she's aware that this thing is out of control. He must be somewhere in the room bleeding out or something. And that's why she doesn't realize other people slipping off and the exchanges. And so I think she's, I don't know, like she's just too flustered to see what's going on.
I don't want to go last. I think Lysander should go last.
Yeah. Could I quickly interject with one last thing from Denios that I probably forgot to mention earlier?
Mm-hmm.
The thing. So you know, I mentioned the hug and then Deniel faints. From the camera's perspective, Deniel faints, and then even though there is no visible enemy there, the hero pretty much takes up the exact same stance she took when like facing down that horde of bad guys mid-season, where she's just, you know, shield up and like I'm imagining like a hammer or a mace or something, just like you know, like ready to swing at something, like, you know, your typical like Stormcast Eternal pose for those Warhammer fans in the audience, but like that kind of thing of like she's ready to face something physical, even though like both of them probably know thing, and then obviously it cuts up to things above.
So I think Tan shares that glare with Ashric, who just says, "I'm sorry," and I think under normal circumstances would have wailed on him, punched him in the face, something, just furious. How could you? But instead, there's this realization of just probably just devastation, I think, where she turns from whatever's happening up, whatever the fight is, and tries to find the hero, which is super out of character.
First time Tan runs from a fight.
Yeah. The very, very big deal. Instead of confrontation with anger, it's a quiet, how could you, and run away, and ends up seeing the ritual circle fiasco. And I think we get no more from her. I think that's just like she's probably gonna be a shell for a while. So that's fun. Thanks. Lysander, you're up.
Before Lysander goes, I actually had a thought, because so I think Ashric's feelings about the whole thing are very complicated, and the rest of you are obviously, oh no, that's our hero friend, we've got to go and see, go and stop, whatever. And you've kind of, as I said, we'd almost beaten Blood Eye, and I think Ashric's like, nah, I'm good out here, I'm gonna just keep an eye on this shit. And just before the scene where you all get downstairs, I think Blood Eye's sort of coughing up a bit of blood and is like, you think you've stopped me, you know, this is bigger than any of you. And I just sort of crack him on the jaw. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, I've got so many more important things to worry about right now than you. You are the least important thing in this entire compound right now. And I think Ashric will be, when everyone's gathered around, I think that pivotal scene when everyone's in the ritual circle and it's dawning on everyone what's there. Ashric is there, but I think he's standing back because he knows that he doesn't have quite as much right to the same level of fraternity and shared grief as the rest of them. So I think he is there for the sake of the screenshot, but he's not actually standing with them at the end.
Just to butt in as well about to say, I think when she comes down to see the hero is in that sleep, I feel like even though she knows there's nothing she could do, no spell she could do, she still feels angry that the hero had told her you can carry on and but you've got to keep that little bit, you can carry on. And she's angry because she thought, if I just didn't do as much as I did, I could maybe do something. And then she's super angry about that. Not disappointed, angry this time.
Does though in that end is to say across, but does she turn to see like all of the bits where like Ashrick's favoring one side over the other because his life was saved, and like Caddis who was bleeding from their head like is okay now, and Tan's like broken fists that have been healed, and you're just like you know you did everything you can even though you're angry about it, and that's why you're angry about it, because she was right.
Definitely.
Can I add in a possible interjection for Tsea? And that be, even like, I don't know like how well her sense would have been for like telling who was the better case to pick up, but I kind of feel like with the feedback of like all this necrotic energy, there was like enough of a disturbance that she didn't know who to go for first and went for Denior first. Like, even though all he'd done was faint, and didn't realize that the hero was the one, she was the one who had absorbed all this and needed the attention.
Yeah.
And so when you got to her, it's like, oh shit, this is a lot more energy than I expected.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. And I think maybe she thought, oh, the hero will be fine because this has happened before. It's just whatever. And also she had been running around trying to find Denior anyway, because she thought he had died anyway. So now she's just like, all tunnel vision. And then really realizes what's going on.
So I think now it is time for Lysander's memory.
Lysander.
So let me know, is this how we defeat Blood Eye?
I think...
Or are we not allowed to defeat Blood Eye today?
I think the hero doing what she did essentially defeated both the scheme, and I think overall the party defeated Blood Eye. Like, it sounds like Blood Eye, they were on the way out, and Ashrick was just wailing on them because Ashrick...
No, I just mean like he's not supposed to get away for another stage of this.
No, we're going to, after we've had our episode of mourning, we're going to realise the thick plottons.
There would be like a season 2 shot, and then we'd never be refunded for that season 2.
Pretty much.
Nice.
I mean, come on, this is like this is obviously a Netflix show.
Yeah, of course.
We'd make it to a second season on Netflix and then get
True.
cancelled for the third, and everyone's hopes are up. So we see 2 moments of growth for Lysander at the end, which is that the fight is kind of breaking down. It's only Lysander and Ashrick up top, I think. Possibly Caddis, if he's already had his closure and he doesn't feel the need because he knows what's happened, or does he?
Caddis definitely stays up top.
And I think like from before we saw, I love that we've made this a TV show, and like from before we saw the Ashrick Tan like wordless moment, like up in sort of tight close up between the two of them and Tan fleeing, we see that same shot, but it's kind of pulled back. And you can see like all the unconscious goons and potentially the dead, the mercenaries that worked for him that were protecting the place, and the members of the Blood Eye crime fraternity, and like patches of smoke around the city where clearly other disasters have happened that have been averted by us, but were like caused by the panic of people falling unconscious, or maybe even as it was happening, the people who were slated to die, did that thing that happens when magic is coursing through them and they're in terrible pain and then they're fine. But so mass panic across the city guard are going everywhere, and like Ashrick full on decks out Blood Eye, and that kind of causes a sort of quiet to descend, like even a little bit of smoke dust and stuff like that, and like Caddis is stood in the doorway and just says something completely quiet, like, oh, I think the guards are coming, just like is the only one that voices the end of the fight. And Lysander's there, and he's got his he's got his big knife that has been one of his many weapons throughout, and he literally stands there looking at the unconscious Blood Eye, and there is a very, very long pause, and like it's quite close up on the knife, and he's standing there like, oh. And then we hear the guards kind of running up the steps to the courtyard where they're all stood, and like it's mildly ambiguous whether Lysander just ran out of time, but like keen-eyed observers will say Lysander had plenty of time to off him and then go, oh, thank God you're here. But instead Lysander turns round, And it's the first time that Lysander uses the family name and says, you know, I haven't got it off the top of my head. This would be a really dramatic moment, but just goes, I am Lysander X. Arrest these men. And like full on, like completely chameleon changes and actually steps into the boots of being the heir to his house that he never wanted. Because he knows that he has, without having to see her, he knows that he has taken that mantle from his sister.
I actually think because of the plot to make your family look responsible for this, I think this final fight happens at your family home, not at Blood Eyes. I think the ritual... So I think the cellar where the ritual circle is becomes your sister's tomb. Where she sleeps forever. And then one day she's going to actually die and go to be with the gods, and we don't have to watch that happen. But there's just a tomb.
Well,
and
first,
you have to live in that house now.
Well, first of all, Sable, fuck you.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's clearly one of those scenes that, like, really early in the show, before we ran away, the hero was like saying her family prayers down there and was like, you know, talking to Lysander about how she wants to live up to the people of the family who'd been buried there. And she was just like, I just worry I'm not good enough. And he's like, of course you are, you're perfect. And she's like, shh, enough of that. And then, like, I don't have a name, but like he takes command of the situation and is like, arrest these men who invaded our home. And it's just like, takes both the responsibility for his family title and the responsibility should any backlash come onto him, because his parents are both unconscious somewhere and he didn't bother to check.
Hurt.
So that was that the first one or the second one? Remember you mentioned there were two. Lysander.
No, there's only one Lysander.
Oh, I thought you said that. No, so I thought you mentioned there were two memories was all.
Oh no, the moment where he doesn't stab the terrible villain known as Blood Eye. Forgot their name for a second. And the moment where he
calls the guards.
Where the guards are there, but he accepts the mantle of being the heir to his family estate.
Right.
And very pointedly does not run to see his sister. He instead steps out of her shadow.
Okay.
I would like to amend my final scene with Blood Eye then to make something perfect and symmetrical with Lysander's. I think Ashric doesn't deck him in the face. So I think he goes off and is like, look at you. You think you've defeated me, but you're so weak. Lysander had every chance to get rid of me. They've had every chance to kill me, and they just haven't done it. And Ashric goes, no, they're better people than you. And then he turns around and turns back, and the poison knife is in his hand, and he goes, they're better people than me. And he doesn't slit his throat. He doesn't do anything dramatic. He just taps him in the shoulder with it. And
I was thinking go full fairy tale, prick him in the finger.
He just stabs him lightly in the shoulder, and just walks off. And we see, and we just go away from Blood Eye, writhing in pain as the magical poison takes him over. And by the time the heroes go back up into the Great Hall, there's just a bubbling tar and a suit of armor.
King hell. And with that final
But it's very important that Lysander doesn't choose to kill him, because like if that choice is taken away, Lysander's still a murderer.
Yeah, that's why I think what's dramatic about it is Lysander dramatically throws the dagger down, and I think Ashric just
picks
then
it up.
has it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, Lysander's a much better person than I am. Bye. And just kind of walks off.
Oh, yes.
And I think with that, I think it's probably time to start to go to phase 4, a resolution. So I have a couple thoughts about this. And this is up to the other players. But I thought before we do phase 4 itself, do you think it would be worth doing a fully in character scene at like the fireplace as we've left, let's say the cameras essentially have just been switched off if you want.
I could be into that.
As you were muted if you said something there, but I think you just caught
She
yourself.
probably said fuck yeah.
So I was doing the thing where I shout, but I have my mic off, so it looks like I'm shouting, but I'm not actually shouting because that would be horrible.
Okay, fair enough.
What I
mean,
actually
feel
said
free
was
to be...
motherfucker in a very excited way.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like feel free to be the bad side of the crew on this channel. You have a reputation to uphold on the other one.
I just don't like shouting. I think streamers that shout need to stop. I'd like them to put a warning for all their videos so I can.
That's fair.
How dare you?
Yeah. So
It's me.
You don't
Just
shout.
shouting.
You don't.
So it's a yes from Angles. Though
It's a yes
I think
from us
it's a
all.
universal yes.
yes.
We
Okay
speak for
then.
everyone.
So
Thank you, bottom trash.
I
No, I
guess
don't
that
agree.
like this would be like an extra, like I guess an extra scene for those who, because we're going with the Netflix series. Obviously, if it's a Netflix series, we could also say it was started on Kickstarter, right? So this is like one given out to the Kickstarter backers only, like a special thing. So I'd say that like the moon sort of like pans over towards like the fireplace. You know, the heroes had set off on their next journey, and I'm just gonna let you guys take it from there. And insert myself when needed, because there is no GM in this. This is only chaos. But yeah, feel free if anyone wants to start out describing what the character's doing.
How long after we buried the hero do you think this is?
I think that essentially what's happened is there was the fight in sort of
Well, not
late
buried,
out, yeah.
entombed.
So I think it was late hours, early morning was the fight. The heroes have essentially slept long enough to be ready to travel again because they found that that Blood Eye had their like patron, and you know, it was like a mark from the patron or something. It was like, okay, we need to go kill this person, and in revenge for our hero. So I would say it's the following night.
Okay.
Personally, unless anyone has any like other like ideas for that.
Well, we do. I don't know. Do we still need to like wake people up?
I think Daniel would be awake at this point. I mean, like
No,
essentially.
I mean like the people who have been put to sleep.
I think assume that all that's been done.
Okay.
Yeah, they wake up naturally. The magic happened at the circle rather than running around the city.
Yeah, I think now that the heroes absorbed all the magic, they just wake up the next morning going, Jesus, that was a long sleep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably the night. I'd say it's the first night after, if that makes any sense. Even though the hero died on a night.
I feel like Tan has been spending a lot of time trying to get drunk and cannot. Like, just, when you reach that stage where you just, it doesn't happen no matter how badly you want it to. Your rage is burning it off.
Also, the fact that she's too tired.
I think that, yeah.
It sounds like Tan wouldn't have slept.
It's not the go-to thing anymore. You can't just drink and be merry when your girlfriend is dead.
Please,
So
fiance.
Fiance.
Oh man, just drive it deeper, twist a little bit.
Wouldn't have today been your wedding day?
Oh fuck.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh no. So like there's the two little flower crowns that somebody made.
I actually think it's
on
worse
the table.
I think it's worse than that. Just to twist the knife a bit more. I think that there's this lovely exotic city that you were going to go off and get married. Like, this was going to be your retirement for the adventuring life. Like, you were going to go off and get married and come back and just live as fairly wealthy adventurers. And when we were going through Blood Eye's things, we found a letter from the mysterious patron, which was obviously in code, and Ashric decoded it. And it said, when you're done with this city, meet me in other city. And it turns out that this city we've now got to travel to finish the quest that your beloved died on is the very
One
city
you always dreamed of.
Yeah, your dream city.
Cool.
You're muted, is he?
Oh my god, I know. Oh my god, and it was always your joke. Like, even before you and she got together, that was like, why did you do any of this? I don't know. I'm gonna like earn a sack of cash and then retire to this place with like an armful of beautiful girls and a lot of alcohol and like it's going to be great. Like, what do you want from me? And she's like, okay, well, I can't be an armful of beautiful girls, but I can be one, and like we can go, and it'll be fine. And she's like, oh,
yeah, and it's like it's this city that's famous for like its hanging gardens, and there's flowers and parks everywhere, and you're like, none of this is beautiful to me because I should have been here with you. And the end of that season, you finally make peace with the idea that your beloved is now with the gods, and suddenly everything just looks beautiful to you now. Like the world is now beautiful to you because you know that there's peace.
That is, however, season 2 talk.
That's season 2, obviously. Fine.
So back at the campfire. So yeah,
Yep.
you've been probably spending the entire time getting drunk.
The camera pans slowly to the little wilted flower crowns on the table. A little bit. But I'm not drunk, I'm just sad.
Well, if you're drunk, you've probably not been noticing that Tisea is still bandaging up wounds and stuff on your arms, and like everyone, like there's gonna be a level of aftercare, right? So she's probably busying herself with, I've got to keep my body alive.
I think as she's doing that, there's probably like one point when the camera pans down and like, considering sort of the level of care that Tisea sort of seemed to show when like looking for Denia, like there's probably just one point where his hand's like either like on her shoulder or like doing the bloody like, you know, creeping into the hand thing of just like, we both got this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, although like he doesn't know any healing magic himself, he's essentially like, there's presumably like some level of being able to be use yourself as a magical battery.
no, I know exactly what Denny is doing. Oh,
you can feel free to interject.
So Tisea, so if I can say that the pre-fight before was when we were at our worst, and the fight was when we were kind of at our most effective, this is like the opposite of what you expect of our personalities. Tan, who's always vibrant and like in your face, is like very washed out. Tisea, whose whole thing is she keeps you alive, but she'll sorry for the side reference. She's like Sangye's mum. She'll keep you alive, but she will fetch at you the entire time. Like this whole time, Tisea has actually been like making sure people eat and like healing them and like, but like doing a lot of like concerned looks and a lot of, hey, you okay? Look at me. Okay. And like no one's used to it. And I think Denior, who's like the smart guy who is like not super confident about his abilities, but is definitely like, like he goes, I reckon I've got something for that. Pulls out Minor Miracle from a book in his backpack. Is like, having got the clue, which is it's this city, has like decided to utterly hyper focus and like surround himself with like books about that city. And we're like, whoa, you know, calm. He's like, no, I can figure it out. I can figure out what they were doing. You just need to give me some time. And like we come in and he's got a piece of paper that just has the name of this city written over and over, because he's like, I can figure it out, and then it won't have been for nothing and it's fine. And we're like,
I feel like also to say grief is like an illness or not, like it's something that needs to be fixed, right?
Oh no, she's going full I will heal everything.
So she's like, I'm gonna heal it, and so the only way to do it is if you keep on keeping on. That's why she's making sure everyone's getting fed and they're all right and they're sleeping and they're changing their dressings.
Tan is going to put a hand on Tisea's arm as she's like coming in with her healy hands, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, at some point, Tan stopped a blade that was coming for our hero. And so there's like this giant gash along one of her forearms. And she's like, no, you leave that one alone. I'm going to need a memory.
Aww.
Heal that grief, bitch.
No, but to say at one point she's realized that Tan has drank a lot and it's not really doing anything, so it just like swaps the whatever you're drinking out with just like some herbal tea or something. Like, calm down, you know, like you need to calm down. You need to just relax, or something like, I don't know, she probably got some on her travels, found something of like some sleeping potion or something, because she knows Tan needs to sleep.
She's gonna take a nap, but I'm not gonna like it.
I'm gonna politely spike your drink.
Thanks. I'll be asleep at some point.
Lovingly.
After pants. and sadness.
But yeah, going back to the whole like earlier bit, essentially like between Denia going like, I must find this, and this moment, he's essentially calmed down from that enough, and is just, I guess, probably sort of like following to say around like a lost puppy because he's just like letting himself be used as a magic battery for any kind of healing magic, and also just being
up, like,
being lost puppy energy.
You feel a little bit shit because you don't know what you're doing and can't. So she's kind of like, just come with me and I'll show you a few things.
Perfect.
I think Caddis is fine. I think
Too fine?
the jarring thing about this scene is that Caddis is behaving like he would around any other campfire at any other night. So he's like having his stew and kind of making little affirmative noises like, this is good. And like just kind of bimbling around that kind of way
No
that
one made Stu as good as the hero.
Actually, I've got a counter suggestion. I think Caddis isn't fine at all, because I think Caddis saw something he didn't like among the necrotic energy.
I'm happy to lean on that as an angle too, because that can tie easy into my secret. But if it's not that he's normal, it needs to be abnormal to the point of irresponsive. And I don't know how to do that in a way that is also conducive to this scene, because someone's got to drive this. Maybe it's the bar.
Clearly he seems fine, but there is an undercurrent there that we don't, as a party, realize.
Yeah,
I think
he seems too fine.
There's a moment he goes quiet in between bites of stew, and the camera kind of zooms in on him as he closes his eyes for a second, and we hear this horrible whispering sound in the back of his head, the same sound we heard when he stared into the necrotic void earlier, and something looked back and he didn't like it.
I like it.
Also, I want to answer your point, Mike. The hero was terrible at cooking, but she enjoyed it. And now we're eating good food and it's weird.
I think just to kind of to pin the Caddis sequence, it's too fine. It's maybe to the point of annoyance that he seems okay. And I imagine one of the first interchanges, like he's wrapping his spoon against the bowl in a way that seems like a rhythm, a beat. And then the rest of the scene plays out. And then as it concludes, we get that moment where it's the zoom into his eyes, the eyes close, you hear that same whispering, and it cuts to the hands, and he's not rapping a tune. He's shaking so violently that the spoon is just rattling against the crockery.
Nice. So I think we've got 2 more left of this like unofficial extra phase. This is not in the, by the way, for those watching who may be interested in playing the actual tabletop game, this is not in the tabletop game. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to add in because these guys are just awesome.
Lysander is busy. Lysander, who was usually quite happy to not do things and sort of just rest on his sister's sense of activity, he transformed from probably quite a unkempt individual to, like, he's not gone full noble brat, but he's like taken charge of the situation in a way that I don't think he fully expected. And so he's very much like processing his grief by never slowing down. Like he is.
I don't want to be an asshole, but is he fulfilling his sister's role as the center of the party again?
No. Like he's basically, when we sit down and have dinner, like that might be the first. No, not even unintentionally. Like that will be the first time he's sat and had dinner with you in ages. Like
all day, yeah.
He's not distancing himself from the party. He has just decided that he needs to do everything, and that kind of, he's got that kind of energy, which is if he sits down, he'll stop and have to think about what's happened, and he doesn't want to do that. So he's just kind of carrying on with it. He's kind of doing the opposite of Can, really. He is taking on a lot of tasks and isn't quite ready to stop yet.
And then I think, well, you mentioned yours, didn't you? Wait, arrows, Ashrick, already, didn't you? That you were away from the thing, or was that earlier?
That was when we were all down in the draft.
In the yeah.
Where we find the hero, and and it kind of dawns on everyone. In this scene, I think Ashrick is also on the edge of the group, and I think he's been there since the conversation turned to the Irish wake portion of the evening, where people are sort of telling stories and all this. Because fundamentally, the hero, you've all been about to die 100 times, right? The hero did not leave you all to become psychologically ruined by her death. And I think she went to her death knowing that after a certain amount of time, you'd all be fine. I think Ashrick's feeling more disconnected from the rest of you than normal. I think his grief is more selfish. I think he's sad that he's lost a mentor, but because that mentor was going to give him more points, this mentor was going to help him improve something, not necessarily because I think he's conflicted about that. Do I really think so little of other people that that's how I see her? And I think the last scene with Ashrick we see that he's now got the poison dagger just in its little scabbard on his belt. That's just now his. And I think he just kind of walks away. And I think it's deliberately left ambiguous whether he will be back in season 2.
Okay.
Because his narrative utility is ambiguous now, because he was there initially as a challenge for the hero. Can I help to redeem this person who initially doesn't seem to care about being redeemed? And she was the person he most interacted with in the party, probably. I think now that she's gone, he feels like he's only one ambiguous sentence away from just being sucker punched by Tan. I think he leaves not knowing himself whether he'll be back by the time they wake up in the morning. Maybe I'd like to think he'll be back in season 2, but it's definitely got to be deliberately ambiguous that he might not.
Absolutely.
And I think when they wake up in the morning, he isn't there. And I think if he does join them in season 2, it's that he shows up at the dock and they're on the boat about to sail off to another city. But I think as far as they're concerned, that little shit's gone off. It was too much for him. He's gone. He's off. He's going to off and sell himself to the next villain, probably.
So I am. I'm going to invoke the powers of This Is My Stream just to add one final scene to all this. Well, one final shot, I guess. Sort of before Cadis's thing, because I think that's more of a end of the credits. You cut to his REM kind of rapid eye movement sleep, and you just see his hands tapping out the rhythm because they're shaking. But I think as the final thing, just before the camera closes, Lysander sits down for the first time, and Daniel just is on the same, I guess, campfire log thing or pallet or whatever. Just kind of extends a hat an arm and I guess what could be adequately described to someone who had never really had siblings as a brotherly hug. And after that, as the hug is going on, the camera sort of zooms past them towards the fire that is the shot that is around us of this dying embers.
I'm so sorry, but I know how this goes down. This whole thing has been Denior looking up to Lysander in a sort of fraternal way, and the whole time Lysander's I did not sign up for a little brother. I don't approve of this.
I am the little brother, damn it.
But as we carry over this plot over and over towards season 2, which we love, Denior holds out an arm, and it's this gorgeous moment, and Lysander just goes, "No, we're still not at hugging," and he's like. the overarching art plot of will Denior earn his hug in season 2. But Lysander does it with a kind of like the smile of nah, and he's just like, no, we're still not at hugging. He's like,
don't do this to me, Izzy, damn it. Damn it. Worth a try. I'll get a hug one day, damn it, Lysander.
No hugs from Lysander.
Okay, and with that, I'm actually going to go into phase 4 proper because that went on a little bit longer than I expected. Because that was fun. So, phase 4, resolution. So once we've finished discussing the 4 periods, take turns to reveal your feelings for yourself and the hero, and for the hero. Read out what you agree to be the hero's story. So I'm going to ignore the readout that we agreed to be, because I think we all agree that what's been going on makes enough sense. But I think this is a good time to go around and mention what of the feelings we rolled at the start of the game, and whether we think we kind of got them across, and the thing that we wanted out of the hero, and whether we got that or not. So I'll start with this Sable.
Right, well, so I rolled envy and guilt, which is part of what inspired my thought of having maybe been a former enemy or something like that. So I think the envy thing was when everyone's kind of what a great person she was and all this, and I think his envy, his petty side, was just thinking no one will ever feel this way about me. Like when I die, the best I can hope for is that not everyone is glad and some people have heard of it. So that's the envy side of it, and the guilt side of it is probably pretty obvious. He's thanks to the help of the hero, he has come to understand that he's done some bad things and not just brush it off. Like, he knows the suffering he's caused, and he knows the harm that his mercenary attitude towards things has caused. And I think, did he get what he wanted from the hero? Is ambiguous. What he wanted from the hero became for Ashric an avatar for the world's ability to forgive him, which is ridiculous because the vast majority of the people that Ashric hurt have never heard of him and never knew that he had anything to do with it. In fact, the only people Ashric ever hurt who know that Ashric exists are this bunch of gubbinses over here. And she had taken on this role in his head of being, if she said to him, I forgive you for everything you've done, then he'd feel just universally forgiven. But of course, we know as the audience, we're smarter than that, and we know that no one has that power. No one person can forgive someone for all that they've done. And he now feels his arc in season 2, just as Tan's arc, is maybe something along the lines of finding some sort of hope for the future or peace, whatever. I think Ashric's arc is recognizing that the real thing that the hero gave him was the ability to look inside himself and the ability to recognize you have done evil things. How do you face yourself? How do you forgive yourself? And how do you make it right where possible? So did he get what he wanted? No, but he did get what he needed.
Okay, I'll continue going along the bottom. Izzy.
Emotion in life, emotion in death, and what we wanted from the hero, and did we get it? Yeah.
I was just going with just the 2 emotions because I didn't realize they were particularly in life or in death. But if you could assign one to both, then that would feel free to mention it.
That's what I thought it was.
If it was, and I misread it, my bad.
Yeah.
The one that he felt in life was anger, which I think is probably typified by the fact that they were constantly squabbling, or not squabbling, but he was always bouncing off her and she was always much more placid. Like, I think of all the members of the party, he could get a rise out of her when no one else could. Like, she wasn't perfect, but like he could never fully understand why she was the way she was, and like he hated that she was so calm all the time and was like, how can you, there's stuff to do. And like, ironically, she taught him patience, or at least like to use his anger more productively. But the emotion he felt, and I didn't understand this at the start when I rolled it, but I understand it now, because the emotion he felt in her death is trust. And that's why he didn't go downstairs, because he knew that he wasn't angry at her for sacrificing herself. He wasn't upset at her passing in any sort of tangible way, because she did everything she could to protect people. And he knows that if she gave her life for it, she wasn't some self-destructive, self-sacrificing paladin. She had everything to live for. So if she died for the people and for the town, then she made the right choice. And that's why he is sad and empty without her. He can't mourn her the way the others can, because he trusts her. And he will continue to trust her even now that she's gone.
Okay. I'll continue along the line of the people at the bottom of the screen. Now next go to Caddis. Michael.
So, for how I felt about the hero, I rolled grief. And how I feel now that they are dead, I rolled regret. And the grief aspect is what motivated the idea of I am a necromancer. I think one of the things were this story to be played out that we find out about the necromantic arts is that death is not so much a fixed point, but a point that is so devastating to a soul that it can be detected even before it happens. So Caddis, by being a necromancer, was aware of how the hero died. Which means that when we have that first fight where she doesn't nearly die, or she seems to be dead but doesn't quite, but comes back, he's seen with this great amount of confidence, arguably, because he knows that this isn't it. I've seen it. Mm. But to tie in the idea of regret, and I think it makes a bit more sense to me now we've got to the end of it, and knowing that what happens at the end is that Caddis sees too much, or something else, something beyond, is that I think Caddis orchestrates to a degree an idea of how to undo this. Maybe that resurrection magic is forbidden or unheard of, and that he thinks he's got a plan. He thinks he's outsmarted it. And so I had a different thought of this earlier on, but when that section when he says, there's something I need you to know before the end, he thinks he's got an idea to bring her back. However, the thing that he is haunted by is that what has come back isn't her, and isn't human, and is definitely there.
Yeah, stuck in the world between this and the next, essentially.
Yeah.
And I can, sorry I'm hijacking this a bit, but I can also see the regret being a bit of like, you've also created a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. Like these inescapable bonds of death. I imagine the thing that he wanted most of all was arguably power. He wanted a way to, because if you can make death a revolving door, if you can make you can come back right, then people surely will need to start respecting the necromancer, because they have more control than just say some last words to some loved ones or get rid of a spirit. This is, we can keep you going, and that'll change our entire class of people. That was the secret that he was keeping, was that he intended to try and use her to get more power, to try and change his personal circumstances. Did he get what he wanted? No, absolutely not. He got something he could never have asked for, would never have wished upon anyone, and that's probably going to continue on into season 2.
Okay. So next in the 6 I have on the screen, it would be Sassy.
Okay, I'll mute my mic first before I start talking trash. So the feeling I felt before, well, while they were alive, was anger. And I think that's, even though Tisea says I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. No, she's angry. She's angry because the hero keeps throwing themselves into these things and then expecting to be healed. And I think at some point she probably felt like a little bit, I don't know, underappreciated maybe. I'm not too sure, but I think, and it made her angry that she had told her not to use up all her energy and then, or told her to use up all her energy and then couldn't do anything about the issue. So I think that's why she felt angry. The feeling after, though, was love. And I think that's because she did it for the hero sacrificed herself because that was what had to be done and that would save everyone else. And I think not in like a relationship way, because obviously she's not, no one's gonna step on Tan's toes. No one would dare. But more of a, like, you know, friend, you know, that sort of, you know, you have a bond with someone when you've saved their life multiple times. You sort of have that. Are we doing secrets or?
This was the secret of the like thing. Yeah, so this is the point when if she had any secrets.
So what she wanted was an apology or like a thank you for, you know, saving my ass this many times. And she didn't get that, but in the end she kind of got something better, which was the hero saved Tisea and everyone else's lives by sacrificing hers. And I think that's better than an apology or a thank you, because it's more of an action. So there you go.
All right. On the order of 6, I'm next. I'm going to leave the love struck fighter for last because gotta end this on a bang. But the feelings I rolled, and dear viewers, the person who organised this did not actually read the thing enough. Apparently, I did not know that one was supposed to be as it was and afterwards, but I can retrofit them. So that's what's happening now. So the 2 feelings I rolled were grief and joy. Grief was the first one, so I'm going to put that into the thing. And I'm going, considering this character seemed entirely academic, I'm going to say his grief was not for the hero, but for the fact he wasn't as good as he should have been every single time, essentially. There's been so many times of the hero essentially putting her hand on his shoulder saying, I got this, essentially. Like, and not in like a bad way, but like a I'll help you kind of thing. And the feeling that I rolled second was joy. And as I said, I thought these were both bits sort of a combined aftershock feeling. So that's how I sort of tied mine together. But I can see also the joy coming from the fact that he got the thing to work, essentially, although it did end up costing the life of the hero. And so again, there's this academic joy, but also it kind of ties into the secret want out the hero. And to be fair, this wasn't just out of the hero, but out of Lysander as well. As soon as Izzy mentioned that Lysander was the hero, the hero's brother, of essentially, Denio was an only child. He just wanted a brother and a sister. And so I kind of retrofit that like, hence why I mentioned I completely forgot about the reading the secret thing as well. That hug as the hero stepped into the ritual circle with him to take on the brunt of the power because she knew she could take it and he probably would die for it. Like, again, that kind of hits him with both, but he kind of feels like finally he has that family bond kind of thing there that he never really felt before. And now to the one we've all been waiting for.
Well, I would argue that my baby care is over, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna mute, and I probably won't be talking as much anymore. But so I rolled first pity, and I thought, oh, what am I gonna do with that? And then I realized that I would have seen the hero as I would have been like underestimating her strength the entire time, because she's not big, she's not brawny, she's tiny, she's wee, she's got all this bravery, but she's just not as strong as me. And so I would always have been viewing her like, you got this, I'm here to help though, just in case, with just a little bit of, I trust you but not that much, but I'll rescue you if you need it. And then I rolled regret.
Oh.
Because in the end, I realized she was stronger than I was the entire time. And I feel like that just, bloop, perfect little circle of heartbreak. Because how did the dice know before I did? Is my question.
Always do.
So anyway, that's me. And this has been super lovely. And I will stay in the box because I don't want to mess up your overlay. But I do have to mute.
I thought of a secret because I also didn't realize that we had to do a secret, but it's only a short one. It's an addendum, really, to a thing that I already said. I thought it might be a nice little bit of fun melodrama. So remember that Ashrik's whole thing is that, he's been doing these awful things for Blood Eye, and Blood Eye got him to come and betray you and lead you into trap. And Ashrik realized that he was actually walking himself into Blood Eye's trap as well, and all this. And I think there's just there's two words that I want to add to the scene where he finally kills Blood Eye. As Blood Eye writhes on the floor in pain, Ashrik says, "Goodbye, father." Look at that reaction. That's what I live for. This is why I GM the Trash Crew. Look at their faces. This is fantastic. This is living. Ashrik Blood Eye.
Oh!
Done it.
I can't believe I didn't. I can't believe I gasped like.
It was amazing. You, Ash and Bree, it was perfect. Oh, too good. Someone click that, please. It's amazing.
Wait, did everyone have their secrets? Because I got told not to tell mine.
Secret.
Like Lysander just wanted his sister to be proud of him. It was a pretty obvious secret. I made a pretty transparent character. He pretended he didn't care, but secretly he cared quite a bit. And I think he has a similar situation to Tisea, where she never said it, but like it was abundantly clear, and he only realized it afterwards. But like, no, I want to retroactively not have said that because I want to end on fucking Ashrik Blood Eye. Like that.
Has anyone else come away from this going, wow, this was an amazing experience. God damn it, why can't I play these people?
Yes.
Like if it helps at all, Bree and I have been pinging each other art references.
Oh.
I sent her a picture and I went, "This is the hero, right?" And she went, "How did you know that's what I was picturing?" I was like,
God,
I'll do it later.
We won't be able to properly credit or anything if we do that. So
like we're just on Pinterest. We're doing artist thievery, going this but not. Like you'll just have to find out one day. Maybe the Model Railway Man will tweet such art or whatever. No, I mean when me and Brie have done all the art, when we decide we want to. Well, no, that's not a promise. I'm not promising anything. I was just saying me and Brie were excited.
Our promise is being made on stream right now. Wow.
Yeah, it is, but we're not going to use it because it's not ours.
Interesting.
I indeed am the muted. Sorry.
Nice.
I was muted on the stream. God damn it. But yeah, no. I will not go over the thing. I think the thing from the context clues of everybody else was clear. But yeah, this was Death of a Hero, and damn, this went really well.
Yeah, I love
This is why these guys do this more professionally. More professionally.
You're the guy who set it up, so
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was inspired by you
also,
guys.
I think it's when you were right there with us doing it.
yeah.
Yes, but my guy was just like a wannabe wizard. You guys
We
wizard
don't
all
get
these
to-
things.
I know it's because I'm conflicted now. Because normally I'd be like, Mike, be nice to my friend Mike. But this is your channel. I don't get to tell you to be nice to yourself. You have all the power in the world.
I do indeed. I could end the stream right now. I'm not going to. But no, genuinely though, legitimately, watching you guys has always been brilliant. Especially with all these moments. So it's as soon as I saw this game, I was like, this is utter trash crew fodder.
It's very trash crew.
And perfect. And you guys would be able to wring the feelings out to me whilst playing alongside.
It was great.
But yes.
I just realized something. It's the first time that the new lineup of the Trash Crew has all been in a game together.
Woo!
Oh,
Including me.
God, because
I'm-
hasn't been. Oh my God, yes.
You haven't been in Gentleman Strangers yet.
Yes.
Yeah?
But yeah,
I don't
the
think she's not joining Gentleman Strangers. That's not happening.
I already
wouldn't-
did
I
art
wouldn't-
for
I
it. She
wouldn't
has
let
to
her.
happen. You know
I
how many
wouldn't let
hours?
her. She is not a gentleman, and she's not a stranger to me.
We all know who she is.
That's Ash. She's been in the game with us.
but yes, next week, if I have the space to do it, because last week I didn't, and I'm very sorry about that. There should be another episode of Wandering Dreams, and next time I can wrangle some people together for another grandiose, gemless, garrulous. I'm trying to think of other good words begin with G that aren't just good.
Gregarious.
Great, gregarious,
Glorious.
glorious.
I like the three different words that were shouted. Ash said great. Sable said gregarious, and I said gay.
And gay.
Hey.
GMless get together.
It's all
the next
trash names.
the next
Gay
of the
trash.
GMless get-togethers.
Gay trash.
Currently, though this is subject to change of anything I get the Grabulent indeed. Thank you, Lou. The one that I've had in mind for the next one is a bit more of a light-hearted venture, and it is called By the Author of Lady Windermere's Fan, and it'll be very much a different setup to this because there's props and things, but it is all about we've all shown up to a play, not done any rehearsals, then the writer's gone on strike. Let's fucking do this.
Author of Lady Windermere's Fan.
Yes, the reference
Dig
is
up
to Oscar Wilde.
Did they dig up Oscar Wilde?
The reference was more to the fact that obviously Oscar Wilde went uncredited for that due to everything going on. There's a very much in detail brief about that in the thing, but it's a lot more lighthearted than this. But if we can find another heart-wrenching one, I'm sure that will probably come first because these guys can do heart-wrenching really well. I found one really good one that's heart-wrenching, but I've been told we will not be playing because it's I think it's the Leica one.
Oh,
because it's
I
about doggos,
said you probably wouldn't have Praxis Descends for that one.
yeah, because
it involves a number of things that you don't want to roleplay. I don't think, Izzy.
I believe you. I trust this man. I trust this man with my life and with my feels. More importantly, my feels.
Fair enough. But yeah, but no, it will most likely be by the author Lady Windermere's Fan, but watch this space. And so, on to all the link stuff again. If you want, and you enjoy this, follow me in the button, wherever it is on the screen.
Do it now.
And do it. At some point, when you feel happy to, I will mute you, Sable, if you try and force my fans into doing this, wherever you've gone. That way.
Immediately. Do it immediately.
And you.
Right now.
You take that follow button out to a nice dinner, and then you smash the fuck out of it.
You show it a good time.
And also, follow these lovely people over at the EU Trash Crew. And maybe, if you're kind enough, give them a subscribe or a support on the Patreon. I don't know if there will be a big Patreon list reading. I assume not, because this is not their stream.
What on earth would we do that for?
Because
Alright,
you guys
someone has a
provided-
stream. Here we
Mike,
go.
shut
Because
up,
I
we
like
can't
it
talk
promoting
about
my
it, that's
friends.
Patrons.
Well, I would like to thank one patron in particular.
Thank you for the follow.
Hello.
You're
and
welcome.
No, we all did. Michael Crees,
Yeah.
the model railway man, who invited us onto his channel, and we had a grand old bloody time.
It was
By
The
the way,
old time.
I can say as well, my ability to watch streams on the nights that Michael streams is pretty inconsistent, but I have come to one or two of them, and he does lots of really cool, interesting stuff, GM-less stuff, like really cool tales.
Mostly single player stuff.
Yeah.
The hope
so-
is that I'll be doing a fair few episodes, provided they don't go as badly as the last one did, on Wandering Dreams, because that's a lot more open than a lot of other single player role playing games, but I have a lot of others in the can as well. There will be more opportunities to see me in silly outfits.
Yeah. What are you eating?
Again.
What are you eating? Ash, what are you eating?
My lovely
chocolate
fiance
shreddies.
may or may not have just made some fresh cookies.
What?
Wait, Ash, you mean your gay fiance?
My mega gay
Your
fiance.
fiance?
My fiance.
Why don't you gay marry her if you love us?
Yeah, only gay man.
You know what? I'm gonna gay marry her so hard.
Gay marriage.
What?
What a gay.
Hell yes.
Oh god.
And I,
you're
okay,
hot.
before Ash burns her mouth out with these cookies, I am going to say now, have a lovely time. I'm going to throw one more link to my Discord into the thing. Join if you want to hang out. I very rarely hang out on there, but if people start wanting to hang out, please do. And with that, I shall bid you all a good night. Au revoir.